Welcome to Princes Park for this round 17 clash between the Tigers and the Saints. Second placed Richmond against second last placed St Kilda. Richmond heavily favoured here on a very cold day at Princes Park. Bruce Eva sitting alongside Mark Fine on commentary. And can the Saints spring the upset? Of course, they got over the top of the Cats a couple of weeks ago as Zilla has the first handball of the game. Little handball there to Sirakoski. Kick round the corner, intercepted by Knights out close to the boundary line. Daffy's got it. Tackled by Zilla, but got boot to ball over the boundary line as we see Justin Peckett wearing the long sleeves today, as is Robert Harvey. It's a very good afternoon to you, Finey.
Good afternoon, Beaver. It is cold here, Princes Park, an unlikely venue for St Kilda and Richmond. First time ever. Sirakoski, the hit out, he's going to do his own roving. Daffy comes over the top and Peckett manages to keep the ball in play. It's near the boundary. Keogh claims it was in. The boundary umpire knows better. And right on centre wing, maybe favouring St Kilda by 10 or 15 metres, she's going to be put back into play. The Tigers equal top on the ladder. Big game for them. Can they get to the top of the ladder after this one? Picked up by Broderick. He's in over the ball. Gets it out. Nicky Winmar reads it well and puts the Saints into attack, and Stuart Lowe underneath the ball. Comes to the back of the pack. Rogers is there. A reliable defender. Gee, that was a very good piece of play. I think it might have even been Wakeland up there for the Saints. Forward pocket. Beaver, St Kilda into attack early here at Princes Park.
We've got both Wakelands playing today, the twins. Darryl in his first season at the club, Shane in his second. Yeah, strange venue to be playing today. Designated Richmond home game, as you can see with the Tigers wearing the black shorts. And we will have a throw-up. That is the veteran umpire, Rowan Sawyers, or third man up, Harvey. Crashed heavily as well. Stewie Lowe, season best form or career best form, lays a big tackle, and we'll have another throw up just out from the St Kilda goal, which is at the scoreboard end of Princes Park in this opening term. Deer and Low again, 0-0 draw, trying to crash through there. Looked like Charles, grabbed there by Duncan Kellaway, little toe poke, intercepted by Conklin, the birthday boy, on his 21st birthday, and his flying shot at goal touched off the boot, and he's out of bounds right forward pocket. We're still waiting for our opening score of the afternoon, and pretty good crowd here.
Good start by the Saints, so deep in attack. Lowy at the front of the pack, gets it ball down. In over the top of the ball there was Zilla flying in O'Brien. Broderick, as usual, doing the tough work for the Tigers. It stacks on the mill, and the umpire says, give it me. Oh, gee, there's a fairly... Oh, have a look at this, and it's a free kick to St Kilda. A bit of a to-do there. And they're going to be pulled right to the goal line. St Kilda's going to start off with a goal here. Absolute certainty. I'm not quite sure who the recipient is. Well, Craig O'Brien, often on the receiving end from the umpire. This time gets one, can't miss, bang! Through it goes. St Kilda take the first goal lead. 1 goal straight. Tigers yet to get the ball into attack, Beaver.
And what a season Craig O'Brien is having. A little coming together there with David Burke after we missed what that free kick was for. Free kick and a 15 or 50 metre penalty, which only had to be 10 to 12 metres to go to the goal line. Perfect start for the Saints as the sun finally breaks through here at Carlton. St Kilda 1 straight 6. Richmond yet to score. In fact, Richmond haven't gone forward of the centre in the opening 4 or 5 minutes here at Princes Park. Umpire John Harvey to get us back underway. And it'll be the veteran Greg Deer in the ruck for the Tigers. And it'll be David Sirakoski for the Saints. Tapped down by Deer, but straight to Nathan Burke. Kicks quickly to right half forward. Shane Wakeland leads in the race for the footy. Worried out of it there by Jamie Tate. David Burke with the quick kick on the left foot, and Peckett can't keep it in play. And we'll have a boundary throw in between wing and half forward for the Saints on the outer side.
Good start by the lowly Saints here, Beaver. They've done all the attacking. The ball put back into play. D has certainly got the height advantage over Wakeland. Well rode by Broderick, who's had 3 or 4 touches. Daffy and Peckett go after the ball, but it's Zilla who's able to put the Saints back into attack. The spindly Burke grabs the ball, drops it. Quite good evasive play, but only manages to scrub a kick to Matthew Knight. Was he held without the ball? The umpire says no, and the boundary umpire's the busiest man here this afternoon. He's going to throw the ball back into play.
A venue that has caused the Saints so much pain over so many years. No victory at this venue between, 1976 and 1991, but they'll go for it again. Harvey gets on the end of a couple of handballs from 55, a long shot at goal, but he misses to the near side, and it's 1-1-7 to Richmond, yet the score. But in recent years, there has been a couple of famous triumphs, including late in 93, where the Saints, of course, beat Carlton here at this venue for the first time since 1964.
Gale takes the kick out, picked up by Jamie Tape. He looks further afield, but that's a poor kick, out of bounds on the full. You get a sense that St Kilda's going to have to take every opportunity to win this game. Second bottom versus second top on the ladder. Even without Matthew Richardson, consider Richmond a good thing in this. Matthew Bauer actually claiming the ball, but no, says the umpire, and he has to hand it to Nicky Winmar. So I've got to say, St Kilda getting the rub of the green at the moment. Nicky Winmar just for the centre wing. He's looking to kick the ball long. Stuart Lowe's been such a great target this season. He looks for O'Brien. That's a misplaced kick at the base of the pack. O'Brien and Zilla going for it again, and the umpire's going to call a free kick. Pretty physical start to the game, and as you'd expect, the likes of Zilla and Broderick right at the bottom of the pack. Incredible to see that umpire Harvey is still permitted to officiate in league football, and he puts the ball down 40 metres from the St Kilda goal.
Pretty sluggish start for the Tigers fighting. We better be careful here. We don't want any litigious action after our commentary today. Quick turn over Bardsley. The porpoise comes charging through. Kicks to full forward. Mark almost taken there for the Tigers by Paul Bullis, who's... it is Bullis, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you what.
What's happened to his hair? It was before he started growing it, wasn't it? It ended up like a mane. Well, that's a terrible kick. He's kicked it straight to Craig O'Brien, who bangs through a behind golden opportunity, and he screws it across the front of the goal face. 1-2-8 the Saints now, and Richmond still yet to score and haven't been forward of centre.
What a kick by Bullis. It was Bull something, I'll tell you that. Wayne Campbell relieving Bullis of any kicking in duties, and Wayne Campbell looking around. He's going to go short too. Richmond's kicking's been very poor early, but he does find Kellaway about 40 metres from goal. So Duncan Kellaway, what a stout defender he's been. Kicks the ball to centre wing into the breeze really, and you'd have to say at the moment Richmond can't get the ball anywhere near their forward line. So any thoughts of missing Matthew Richardson are irrelevant, because without the ball in your forward line, who cares whether he's playing or not? Half forward flank for the Saints. And Serakowski going to be undersized all afternoon. Deer takes advantage, taps it to the back of the pack. Peckett managed to kick the ball on the ground. Bauer in over the top of it. Broderick again. He's dispossessed. Could have been holding the ball. Winmar gets the handball out. Zilla fumbles. And I'll tell you what, it's fairly scrappy. In there was Miranda. Oh boy, it could be any one of 10 players claiming the ball there. Anderson for St Kilda, Zilla, and in the end umpire Harvey to bounce the ball. Still not in Richmond's half.
8 minutes into the opening term, the Saints with the only 3 scores, 1-2-0. Richmond still yet to go across the centre line. Peckett sharks the tap. Might have given away a free kick there to Rogers. Play on the call. Richmond do force it into midfield. Pekin couldn't take the mark. Miranda sockers off the ground. St Kilda battling hard. Bardsley in there once more. Picked up for the Tigers there by Nathan Bauer. Kicks to centre half forward. Richmond finally inside forward 50. Shanahan, big tackle there on Jerica. A chance for little Nash, went without it, then received the handball back from Prescott, the old 1-2 back to Ash Prescott. Sold the dummy on Shanahan and was mowed down in the tackle. Picked up by Bardsley, he kicks it back into midfield.
Well, good start by the Saints. McLaren goes after the ball. He's been, well played Joe McLaren, keeps his feet. In the end, it's knocked down. Gale to Bauer. Gee, there's a few Gales and Bowers going around, aren't there? Jerica, the big boy, studying more, smart, but on that occasion not smart enough to win possession, and Shanahan wearing him like the glove, the proverbial. Umpire Harvey to put the ball down 50 metres from Richmond's goal, and they are kicking to the Royal Parade end. Gale gets the tap out, Bardsley gets hit in the face, a bit of a square up there maybe for some earlier indiscretions. Nash, oh well, an interesting free kick, 50 metres out, probably too far to score, puts it into the teeth of the goal square. Up there is spoiling for St Kilda, Serakowski at the drop of the ball I should say, and Bond able to force it out right near the boundary, right near the point post. Richmond attacking.
At the Robert Heatley stand end of the stadium. So Richmond still searching for their first score of the afternoon, and we've travelled 10 minutes. Ball spinning back into play. No clear winner of the tap. Pekin, superb peaks off the left foot. Dribbles a kick outside defensive 50. Shane Wakeland throws his weight around a little bit. Greg Deere out the back. Kicks on his non-preferred right. Hooking it back in towards the hot spot. Punch away there by Gordon Fode at ground level. Bond tried some soccer tactics. Close to the line. Pekin can't pick it up. Daffy worried him out of it. And we'll have a boundary throw in.
Oh, umpire!
Oh, what is that for? Was that for deliberate?
For deliberate, and I'd say that ball actually, I reckon that came off Daffy.
Appalling decision.
Well, no court in the land would take action against you for calling that disgraceful. Daffy, very difficult shot, pinned up against the boundary, teeth of the goal square, and Wakeland smashes it through for a point. Takes no risks there, does Darryl Wakeland. And St Kilda, 1-2. Richmond get their first score of the afternoon, are behind. Wakeland signals long, kicks short, not a bad one too, to Stephen Ziller. Only 20 metres out from the goal, he's defending. Gordon Fode, known for his long kicking, sinks a big right slipper into the ball, and it's a good one too, and he finds Keogh just short of centre wing. Sells the dummy, Knights buys it, good play by Keogh, but on the wrong foot. Kicks it like a 4-year-old. The ball smothered or skidded into the St Kilda forward. Good hands by Lowy. He's able to pick the ball up. Now here's a chance for St Kilda. Was that Coughlin coming out? Harvey, Anderson. And he sends the ball forward for the Saints.
Yeah, looking there for Craig O'Brien. No mark taken. St Kilda tried to keep it alive. And eventually the umpire, that being Rowan Sawyers, will throw it up. About 30 out from the St Kilda goal. Directly in front. Tigers looking to make the finals for the first time in 13 years. St Kilda anchored down second bottom on the table, but they've started brightly here, the Saints. Zilla with a handball out to O'Brien. Handball to Tony Brown doing his best Joe McLaren impersonation. Gave it to Anderson. Anyway, we got out of that fighting. Back to Brownie. He's dispossessed. Picked up by Wayne Campbell. Kicks it backwards. Now what's happened here is the ball, it's going to come back, and it will be, oh, good on you, Rowan. It'll be a Richmond free kick. Of course, Rowan Sawyers made his debut in that famous draw, St Kilda and South Melbourne at Moorabbin back in 1977. That's some interesting and irrelevant trivia for you. The Tigers work at a centre-half forward. Oh, great mark by Darryl Wakeland, the South Australian in his first season in red, white and black. Takes a towering defensive mark at centre-half back.
Wakeland with the ball. Of course, that McLaren continues my tradition of getting one wrong per game. And he sends the ball forward of the
It's only early market.
Yeah, I can easily add to it. Coughlin does well, not in a usual role as roving. Handballs to Harvey, he puts it in front of Stuart Lowe. Stuart Lowe, well tracked there by Bullis, who's managed to tap the ball only towards his own goal square. Harvey comes over the top, but it's well cleared there by Prescott, and he's going to relieve for the Tigers, kicking the ball to centre wing.
What a fine player he is as well on the bounce, well collected by Bond. Little handball to Dundas with the ponytail. Handball to Nathan Bauer, ball to boot quickly, just forward to centre wing. Mark dropped by Gordon Fode, but recovered first. Bardsley tried to go off the ground. Anderson calm under pressure. Got a little handball to Fode, dispossessed but went back and got it. Left-hand handball over the top to Pekin. The former Lion straightens the body to kick on his right foot. Kicks to the forward pocket. Stuart Lowe takes the diving chest mark and will go back and line up on worse than a 45-degree angle. And as you can see, the kick's going to have to travel about 45 metres. So Stuart Lowe, who of course is in his first season as the designated full forward, if you like, the first season without Tony Lockett at St Kilda, up playing for the Sydney Swans now, as Stuart Lowe's drop punt is out to the left, and that's where it stays. So the Saints frittering away some opportunities here. 1-3-9, and we've seen David Burke off the ground limping heavily to Richmond, one behind. It's been a sluggish and bad start for the Tigers. As you can see on the time clock, we're 14 and a quarter minutes in.
The ball kicked out, could be a free kick there to Serakowski, and it certainly is. He was pulled high there by Bullis, and Serakowski probably too far out to score, but if I was telling you second was playing second bottom, you'd be surprised to know that it's the team in red, white and black that are second bottom at the moment, because they're doing all the attacking and they are leading 1 goal 3-1 behind, though you do think that they're going to have to get their kicking boots on if they're going to be able to record a win against a team in the top four. Serakowski, a long way out from goal, sends it goalwards. I'll tell you what, it's not a bad kick. Not a bad kick at all by Big Sarah. 2 fingers, that's a goal to the Saints. 2-3, that's exactly what I'm talking about, Bruce. They're the goals St Kilda need to get on the board. 2 goals, 3-15. Richmond, 1 behind. Great start to the lowly Saints.
Oh, fantastic start. 15 minutes into the opening term. Of course, St Kilda started the year losing their first 6 games. They were 2-11 at one stage, but have just been showing better form in recent weeks, and a bright start here. Is it a potential banana skin for the Tigers, who are trailing by 14 points halfway through the opening term? Terrible bounce, not recalled. Deer flips it over his head. The Tigers, can they force it forward? Wild handball, intercepted by Tony Brown, mown down by Dundas. Prescott goes in. He's grabbed immediately by O'Brien. A bit of a stacks on the mill. And a free kick, St Kilda free kick, late call there. So O'Brien's been the recipient of a couple of early free kicks, and he'll take it quickly off a step. Kick forward of centre foot. Stewart Lowe on a long lead. Hugs it to his chest. And the big buckets will go back directly in front and line up with a kick that'll have to travel the best part of 50 metres. Oh, this finey would be an ideal start if the big number 23 could slot this from long range.
Well, in years gone by, you wouldn't give him much of a hope, but gee, his kicking's improved certainly this season, and he's confident. He's gone back with great intent. And let's see whether the St Kilda spearhead can put St Kilda 20 points up early against the Tigers. Good ball drop. It's nice off the boot. The umpire moves and signals one behind. I tell you what, not a terrible kick by Stewart Lowe.
No, good effort there. 6 scores to 1. 2-4 to a behind. There's Wayne Campbell again with the kicking in duties, with that page boy hairstyle.
Should be embarrassed of it, Bruce.
Yep, hair is overrated though, Mark, as we know. Deer has the ball punched away from him. Zilla shrugs a tackle, trying to get a handball to Keogh. Pekin been prominent early. Handball's out into space. Campbell grabs it. Can he shrug off the Anderson tackle? No, I reckon he missed his boot. Umpire called play on. Keogh tries to shovel it. Oh, Richmond free kick, give me a spell. And it'll go to Kellaway in the left back pocket. What a fine sporting family. No, he's not going to take it. It's going to be Jamie Tape. Not sure. Well, I gather it was for incorrect disposal, but we are to be a little biased in our commentary today, Finey.
Well, Jamie Tape was nowhere near the play, so maybe it was for, no idea. Jamie Tape, standing over the top of the ball, Rowan Saw's looking around. Everybody's confused. Let's get on with the game, fellas. What are we waiting for? It wouldn't be a streaker because it's about 6 degrees here at Princes Park today. No, Kellaway's coming off the ground, so they've had some early injury problems, haven't they?
Yeah, was that a blood rule? And that's Mark Neal jogging on now.
Yeah,
a bit of a coming together already. Craig O'Brien making his presence felt. It must have been the blood rule.
It wasn't gushing. That ball taken by Tape deep in the back line, and the ball's close to the boundary again. It's actually kept in by the Saints. Good play coming through his Tape. Was he held without possession? Umpire says play on. Daffy again at the fall of the ball, and yeah, it was a free kick to Tape against Keogh. Holding the man is the decision. So it's a bit of a stop-start game, Bruce, but Tape with the ball. Defensive halfback flank for the Tigers.
Another South Australian, plenty of them playing on both sides. They turns it over, looking for Bauer. Nice, neat intercept mark there by Nicky Winmar, the St Kilda superstar. Assessing his options. Gee, shaping as if he's going to go the barrel. So Winmar with the deliberate approach. And he doesn't quite get onto the top. Oh, almost a good effort there by Coughlin. In fact, Coughlin's going to win himself a free kick. So Glenn Coughlin on his 21st birthday, and that'll be a 50-metre penalty to make a certainty of it. The ball wasn't returned to him properly. And Glenn Coughlin, who's had 2 excellent days so far this season with 3 goals against both Carlton and Geelong, and if I was a betting man, I'd say they're probably the 2 most likely teams to play in the grand final this year. As Coughlin kicks the goal, and St Kilda, what a start. 3-4-22, Richmond 1 behind, approaching the 20-minute mark of the opening term. And as you can see in the reserves, it was a thumping by the Saints, who won by 5 goals, 17. And we haven't got the race numbers up there just yet finding. I'm not sure today whether they're at the Heath or Sandown.
No, we are focusing though on football at Princes Park, where St Kilda, 3 goals, 4-22, leading the Tigers 1 behind, and Richmond better get their skates on before this becomes a serious matter. You said it might be a banana skin. Well, at the moment, they're peeling the banana, and they've got to be very careful, because this looks like trouble for the Tigers. A free kick to St Kilda. I don't know whether there were too many in the square, but Serakowski's going to be the recipient, and they're going to go into attack again. So Richmond yet to really get going, and the Saints certainly have. Winmar takes the handball from Serakowski. And what a mark by Lowy! Under immense pressure. Gee, the big buckets there. He's having a tremendous season. He's full of confidence, and he's going to go back. He's had one shot already. He's actually had a couple of shots, and both of them have failed to produce a major. So if he can get his kicking boots on, then Tigers are going to be in further trouble. Oh boy, what a good start.
He is putting Paul Bullis through the mincer at the moment.
Yeah,
4 or 5 marks already.
I guess something Bullis is not unfamiliar with, getting pants, but Stuart Lowe wants to take advantage of it with a major. This would put St Kilda 27 points up, and we haven't even hit time on in the first quarter. Not bad off the boot by the big fella, just falls short, and 1 behind. So that's 3 kicks for goal, Bruce, and 3 behinds for the big full forward from the St Kilda Football Club.
3-5 to a behind. Dundas with the kick in. Campbell made space. Tony Brown tried to put him off, but Campbell completed the mark successfully. Loops a handball over the top to Rogers, who was under pressure. Coughs it up by giving it straight to Brown. Half through it to Coughlin. Awkwardly kicks on his non-preferred left. Getting back there, Dundas drops the mark. Oh, Lowy tried to get a boot to it as Dundas rushed it through. Now is this going to be kicking in danger? It is. Rowan Sawyer's just imposing himself on the contest again.
Certainly worth it by Lowy, sacrificing the point for the attempted decapitation of Dundas.
Dundas very short to Bauer in the left back pocket. Off a step, pops a little one over the top. Mark taken there by Matty Rogers. What a fine young footballer he is. Off a step, kicks almost to centre wing. Burke got a bit of a push from Knights. Knights gathers the loose footy, but he turns it over as well. Handball straight to Zilla. Kicks on the left foot as the South Australian, but he turns it over in these heavy conditions as Rogers takes the diving mark, and Keogh will stand the mark.
Rogers puts the ball right dead centre wing. Darryl Wakeland does well. Doesn't get in the back of Charles, which is a good effort. St Kilda, Bardsley there on top of Charles. Umpire says my ball, and I tell you what, Richmond are finding it very hard to move the ball. Their kicking has been at times poor, but one thing St Kilda has done is put a lot of pressure on the man with the ball. So it's slammed into the turf. Serakowski does well to get the hit out. Bond being tracked by Pickett doesn't really do much with the ball other than track it out of bounds, and if precedent was anything, there would have been a free kick to St Kilda. Remember what happened on the forward line against Tim Peakin for the Tigers, but I guess I'm biased. It's Serakowski up in the ruck. Dia, almost impeded by his own man Campbell, lets the ball get down to Anderson, who kicks it into the forward line for the Saints.
Yeah, Tape grabs the footy, then drops it. Tries to get a handball on. Great intercept there. I think it was by Wakeland to Craig O'Brien. Tight angle, and he misses to the near side. They are peppering St Kilda. 3-6-24. Will they come to rue these misses later in the afternoon? Richmond just the 1 behind, which was a rush. So a 23-point margin, but it has been 9 scores to 1, and basically 80 to 90% of the game has been played in St Kilda's front half. Now Dundas getting a little frustrated. Eventually he kicks off a step, and that's a good spoil by Lowe on Broderick, and the ball is out of bounds. Left half forward in front of, that would be the John Elliott stand. Wonder if that'll ever be renamed down the track. And we'll have a boundary throw in just outside St Kilda's forward 50.
Stuart Lowe to contest with big Brendan Gale, and Stuart Lowe does well, gets the hit out, but might have had his arm over the shoulder of Brendan Gale. The umpire said he did, and St Kilda are off to the races with Robert Harvey. So a bit of misfortune for St Kilda, but a fair decision. Gale kicks it short once again to a man closely marked. It was Kellaway and Peckett, and I've got to say that their distribution of the ball at the moment, Richmond, doesn't really match up with their ladder position. But give credit where credit's due. St Kilda applying pressure. Serakowski, the shorter man, up in the ruck against Deer, and Serakowski does well. Gets the ball to ground. Winmar brilliantly rides a bun from Broderick. Gets the handball through to Anderson, and St Kilda close to the boundary. Was that out? Umpire says no. Pekin picks the ball up. He's able to get a handball. Good play close by St Kilda. Harvey to Anderson. Scrubs the ball forward. Stewart Lowe the target again, but that sort of kicking's going to make it very hard for Lowe to get much of a shot at goal.
Yeah, it is difficult to see what all the hype about the Tigers is about at the moment. Haven't seen them too often this season. A magnificent record, 12 wins, 3 losses, just had 1 draw as well a couple of weeks ago against the Bombers. As Richmond get the clearance through Campbell. Long ball towards centre wing over the head of Knights and Burke. At the back, Charles dives in. He's opposite number 15 and Darryl Wakeland receives the handball from Burke. Interesting handball to Peckett to Winmar, who gets away from Naish. Another handball to Bardsley. We need a kick, and then we do get one. Bardsley pumps it long towards full forward. Bullis finally wins a one-on-one against Stewart Lowe. Keogh's kick was battered down. Might ricochet to O'Brien, who's been everywhere early. Hooks across his shoulder. What a magnificent kick! Craig O'Brien kicks a beauty, and the Saints have got a flyer. They're 4-6-30. Richmond 1 behind, and we've played 26 minutes of the opening term.
Nothing less than they deserve, Bruce. They have been by far the better team, peppering the goals, and now that scoreboard starting to reflect their domination. Richmond's only been forward 2 or 3 times, and 1 rush behind is all they have to show for it. So St Kilda, well and truly good value and deserved of this 29-point lead. The ball to be bounced back in the centre of ground. Isn't Serakowski, the undersized ruckman, doing a good job against Deer? Once again, a chop out. Campbell's there. Anderson tracks him. St Kilda more desperate, coming off the square. Keogh. Gee, if that was contact, that would have been an early shower for Campbell, and a few weeks off for Keogh. He's kicked only as far as Winmar, who puts the Saints back in attack again.
And of course, Rod Keogh's made a bit of a habit of that this year, turning Milhanner into a question mark out at Waverley a couple of months ago. Tony Brown screws it round the corner, but Benny Gale takes the saving mark for the Tigers, who are under siege. He kicks across goal. He finds Bond, touches the ball on the ground immediately. Shane Wakeland gives chase, but he's not looking all that interested in chasing hard. 3 touches on the ground by Bond. Chip past to Callaway. Good spoil there. Was that Tony Brown again? Bond kept running, got the loose footy again, and then kicks it forward to centre wing. Looking there for, who was that? That was Jason Tawney, Horny Tawney, of course. Tigers finally get another inside 50. Jurika, was he being held by Shanahan? He was, says umpire John Harvey. And Jurika, who wants to move it quickly, centering ball, and he finds Nick Daffy, but is the ball going to have to come back? I don't think he'd blown time on. And that is a disappointment for the Tigers, because Daffy was directly in front and only 25 to 30 out. Stephen Jurika, the big young full forward, a much tougher shot from a tight angle over in front of, do they ever name it anything but the Hawthorn stand, that monstrosity which sort of had a curling roof? Yeah. So Stephen Jurika, 5 goals a fortnight ago in that unbelievable draw against the Bombers at the MCG. Slow, deliberate approach, only 2 or 3 steps, and the drop punt. Did he give it a chance? No, miss. Tigers fans behind the goals, they were preparing to get the floggers over the fence, but a minor score. 2 behinds Richmond, 4-6-30 St Kilda, 28.5 into the opening term.
Darryl Wakeland takes the kick out for the Saints. It is a long one, and he finds his brother Shane on a long lead outside the 50. So good transfer played by St Kilda. Tim Pekin, he's had plenty of the ball. He's as good a vegetarian that's ever played league football. Gets it over to Anderson, to Brown, the left footer, looking up forward. Stewart Lowe, the target, goes over his head. He's tracked back by Bullis. Was Bullis in his back? Umpire says no, and Matthew Knights is able to relieve for the Tigers and kick the ball out to centre wing. I think that's out of bounds on the full. A very poor kick, and gee, their disposal has been ragged. Winmar quickly to Burke. Under pressure there from Charles, but takes a good mark. And he also goes short and finds Serakowski, who's leading Deer a merry dance. Serakowski into Peckett. Now that's a dangerous kick and a lazy one. Luckily Pekin there at the drop of the ball to Zilla. Zilla on the left slams the ball forward, but there's going to be no more time. And quarter time, what a start by the Saints. Have a look at Richmond. 2 behinds is all they have to show. 2 behinds 2 to 4-6-30.
Welcome back to Princes Park. Start of the second quarter. St Kilda had the use of a slight breeze in the opening term and they capitalised. Saints by 28 points, 4-6 to 2 behinds. Can the red hot Tigers, can they make a run in this second term at the big underdogs who are showing them a clean pair of heels? From the opening bounce, we'll have a secondary throw up. Richmond a very sluggish start. Deer palms it down, but to our old mate no one in particular. Play on's the call. Finally, the whistle again from the veteran Rowan Sawyers, and we will have another bounce. So 4-6 to 2 behinds. Quarter dominated by St Kilda, and Richmond need to hit back here. Deer swipes it forward. Winmar didn't get a good run at the footy. Campbell runs onto it. Is this going to be the perfect start for Richmond? And it is! A goal in the opening minute, and the Tigers are up and about. 1-2-8. St Kilda 4-6-30, and finally that came very quickly and a little too easily.
Well, you'd expect a response from Richmond. I mean, they've got so much to play for here, and St Kilda playing for pride, playing for obviously setting up season 96, but Richmond was so sluggish in that first quarter, you would have expected some sort of response, and that was a quick one and a good one. Campbell putting their first goal on the board, back in the centre. Greg Deer. Now he's starting to use his height to advantage. The hit out is able to be towed forward by Knight. So all of a sudden, Richmond are looking a far better proposition. The ball into their forward 50, tracking back Zilla, but here's another opportunity. Daffy on the left, great smother by Peckett. Desperate stuff for the Saints. Burke tracks it back. He's tackled. Umpire says play on. Anderson picks it up, tries to fend off Daffy. Could be caught holding the ball. Umpire's lenient and says no. I'll take it right on the 50-metre line, close to the boundary for the Tigers. And they are attacking screen left, or as we like to say here at Princes Park, down to no man's land. The ball thrown up. Darryl Wakeland does well to get his body in for a tap out. Towed off the ground by Peckett. Is that a free kick to St Kilda? Keogh, is it? No? Yes? Umpire Harvey says, I'll throw it up. Square-shouldered, square-headed. Umpire Harvey, but very rarely a square deal.
He received the ball back from Robert Harvey, no relation, as Bauer runs on it. Is this going to be 2 in 3 minutes? Bauer with the quick shot at goal, and the Tigers have started brilliantly in this second term. Yes, another goal. And Richmond eating into St Kilda's quarter-time advantage very quickly. We're yet to cross 3 minutes, and the Tigers have kicked 2 quick goals through Wayne Campbell and Nathan Bauer. And as you can see there, 2-2-14 plays 4-6-30 on this overcast, cold day at Princes Park. And the Tigers, they are back up and about. So the Saints are going to need to have to respond and steady here. Back underway. Sierakowski with the tap. Harvey with the clearing kick. Reckons he received the handball from Anderson. High floating kick to centre forward. Shane Wakeland made a good contest of it. Ball slapped back into midfield. Deer runs onto it. I reckon he dropped the football. Plowns the call. Prescott with a quick kick forward. On the left boot. Out wide, sitting underneath it, Fode. Just got away from him in the end. Nash will try and keep it in play and does pretty well. Goes again. Neil got buffeted over the boundary line. And surely he's not going to get a free kick. No, we'll have a St Kilda free. Not sure what that was for, finding. Dean Wakeland, the gleeful recipient. And again, he's taken it before time back on was blown.
So Darryl Wakeland, defensive 50 for St Kilda, 50 metres out from the Tigers' goal, hugs the boundary line. Coughlin there with the big fist, effective, and it goes out of bounds. So the game has been played generally around the wings, and the boundary umpires continue to have a lot of work to do. So this one will be propelled back in, just forward of centre for the Tigers. Sierakowski edged under the ball by Deer, but Peckett's able to get a quick clearing kick, and Coughlin does well to make a bit of a contest out of it. Is that a free kick to St Kilda? No, of course not. Wayne Campbell, with that very odd hairdo of his, propels the Tigers forward. A bit of an aimless kick. It's going to go out of bounds. Jarika, far larger than his opponent, the Porpoise Bardsley, bundles him and the ball out of bounds. Jarika, bigger flanks than Waverley. Thrown back in by the boundary umpire. Yeah, finally. Just shy of the 50-metre line to which the Richmond team is attacking. Shanahan, the glove man, takes a good evasive step. Nash can't get him. Bardsley snaps it around his body, close to the boundary line, and call the boundary umpire again. The man with most touches on the ground.
Glenn Coghlan was the target there, celebrating his 21st birthday today. Having a fine season for the Saints, very versatile player. Oh, big buck there by that man Coghlan as well, throwing his weight around and then lays a good tackle on tape and causes a stoppage. Almost 6 minutes into the second term, St Kilda's lead has shrunk to just 16 points. Sierakowski gets rid of Deer and spikes it back in towards midfield. Tawney goes to ground without it. Brown grabs it, well tackled by Knights. Daffy emerges with it. Now it's coming back. Will it be a free kick to Knights? It will be. Incorrect disposal against the youngster Tony Brown, the teenager. Trying to milk a 50 there is Wayne Campbell for his experienced teammate. Matty Knights eventually off a step with that lovely left boot. Kicks the full forward. Benny Gale a chance. Gets to the back. And Bardsley happy to see it through for a behind. But with this breeze getting up a bit now, all the attacking being done to this, the big scoreboard end at Princes Park, sometimes known as the toilet. Richmond 2-3-15, St Kilda 4-6-30. Justin Peckett to bring the ball back into play.
Goes straight down the middle, a short pass to Anderson. Effective. St Kilda's 28-point quarter-time lead has been cut back to 15. The Tigers are pressing, but Pekin, who's been elusive all afternoon, gets the ball to the defensive side of the wing, and Peckett, the man who actually started the chain, kicking the ball in, did well to get upfield, and he's got the ball still shy of the centre wing. So St Kilda working into the breeze here at Princes Park on this cold afternoon. Round 17 action. Dundas drops the ball, almost hands it to Bond. An opportunity here for Richmond, and they will receive a free kick in what has been a bit of a stop-start match so far. And the recipient, well, let's have a look here. There's a break in play and concerns there for...
Bond.
Is it Bond? I'm not quite sure.
We've already had injury concerns with David Burke limped from the field. They picked up another injury in the first term as well on
Callaway.
Callaway.
And now Bond being seen to by the trainers. And they reckon he's pretty groggy. The signal there not good. He's coming from the field and he'll receive some attention off the field. But at the moment, I reckon if you ask Chris Bond where this game's being played, I reckon Princes Park would be fairly way down on the list. Dundas will take the free kick in his stead. One of many Fitzroy players who've transferred to Richmond in recent years. He's signalling that he's going to go long, which for Dundas should be about a 25-metre kick. We're waiting for the game to recommence. Come on, Matty. There is a crowd of over 15,000 here, and they didn't come to watch him holding the ball in a bemused manner somewhere around the half-back flank. Mark Miranda has made his way onto the field. Once again, another Richmond player with an atrocious hairdo. The ball kicked forward of centre for the Tigers. Bardsley at the drop of the ball, and he's been pretty good this afternoon, has the Porpoise.
And if I was going to look into a crystal ball, Mark, I would say that Tony Brown looks taller in number 26. Then let's take a wild stab and say if he went on to wear number 2, he looks taller in 26 than he does in a lower number. Now,
Would you say McLaren-esque?
McLaren-esque indeed. Don't think that Brownie will be as quick as Joey McLaren. Burke, a neat little pass to Sierakowski. He's run a fair way. Eventually a handball to Anderson. The ex-Hawk with a handball to Peckett. Peckett kicks out wide, setting Harvey a bit of a task, but nothing's too hard for the superstar Robert Harvey. Paddles it in front of him, Prescott all over the back of him. Harvey, clever little handball to Shanahan. Shanahan's trying the blind turn, interesting tactic there. Grabbed by Tate, centering ball, but he's kicked it straight to Peckett. I think it's coming back. Rowan Sawyer's involved again. Just trying to get the Tigers back on parity here, the whistleblowers. Well, what was that for, Mark? Not sure. Knights, centering ball, looking for his mate Daffy. Overkicked it. Winmar comes to make a contest. Saints diving in left, right and centre, but no clean possession. Packett's got it, Broderick's got him. And the Saints will be happy here with a throw-up, which will occur just inside Richmond's forward 50-metre arc.
I'll also say this about Dean Anderson. He hasn't set the world on fire at St Kilda, but if I was St Kilda, I'd try to get him to the 100-game mark. The ball thrown up at centre half forward, a bounce down at least. Wayne Campbell gets a strutty kick forward, only as far as the helmeted Burke, who as always positions himself perfectly. Doesn't kick that well this time. Miranda tracks back. He's able to swing the ball around on the right boot. And Dean Anderson, the aforementioned, gets the ball under pressure from Campbell. Now that could be a free kick against Anderson for either dropping the ball or an intentional out of bounds. And yep, Dean Anderson should have played 100. Campbell kicks the ball to the true centre half forward, or even closer to full forward. At the drop of the ball is Zilla, who's had a fine afternoon, until of all things, he ran into teammate Serakowski. Keystone cop stuff. Bauer picked it up, slammed it through. St Kilda look foolish, and Richmond look a danger.
Well, the Tigers, the only 3 goals of the second team. Look at the size of that Richmond cheer squad. At least the cheer squad's made the trip up Royal Parade. And the Tigers now back within 9 points, and we're only 11 minutes into the second quarter. 3-3-21, plays 4-6-30. St Kilda hasn't added to their quarter-time score, while the Tigers have piled on 3 goals, 1. And that was a catastrophic attempted clearance from defence. Deere now imposing himself on the contest, wins the tap. Keogh tries to storm through. Burke in there as well. And we'll do it all again. So the Saints really have to stand firm here with so much of this second quarter remaining, and they have or enjoy now just a 9-point buffer. 10 shots to 6, but the lead is just a goal and a half. Deere and Cyril, Deere again, emphatically winning the tap, and the Tigers get the kick forward. Gale the target, Gale the mark! Too tall for Darryl Wakeland, and Big Benny can go back and line this up with little or no angle to speak of from only about 40 metres to put Richmond within 3 points. And all of that early good work by the Saints has almost dissipated.
You'd almost think, pardon the pun, that there is a gale blowing here at Princes Park, given the paucity of scoring at the Heatley stand end and what now seems to be an avalanche of scoring at the no-name or toilet end of the ground. Brendan Gale strolls in, now passes the 50-metre line, so we'll kick from about 35. He's taken his time, and he's taken it to advantage. Right through the high diddle, and St Kilda's 28-point lead is slashed. 3 points to the good. St Kilda 4-6-30, leading the Tigers 4-3-27 on the Lenny's Deli scoreboard. Get all your great food at Lenny's Deli, near the corner of Inkerman and Kuyon in North Caulfield.
Do yourself a favour, pop into Lenny's 7 days a week, and you'll be looked after a treat by a fine St Kilda family. From the restart now, Richmond, they are surging at the moment. St Kilda really do need to respond here. What can the superstar Winmar do about it? He's got Daffy and Rogers tracking him very quickly towards the boundary line. Winmar loses his footing, but still the superstar fights on after it. Well, this is a terrific battle here. Daffy and Rogers in there as well. O'Brien's got it. Handball straight on the boundary line. Is he going to be pinged? Umpire says no, as Mark Neal looked like he was huffing and puffing there, all to little or no avail. What maybe resemble his coaching career a bit further down the track. Deere and Sirakowski, 0-0 draw. Now what's happened here? And it will be a Richmond free kick. It'll go to Deere for a ruck infringement, and he's going to pump the Tigers forward.
He's a big man, and the kick is likewise to centre half forward. Miranda at the drop of ball. Richmond a chance to take the lead. The ball dribbles toward the goal square. Shanahan tries to knock it through. Only manages to tap it to Jarika, who's brilliantly tackled there by Gordon Foe. The saving, desperate tackle. Otherwise, that would have been a goal on the back of a mistake by Shanahan, and Jarika almost capitalising. So umpire Harvey is going to bounce the ball 2 to 3 metres out from Richmond's goal, who incredibly, if they can convert from this chance, would take the lead. The bounce close to the goal square, reaching over the top Gale, but forcing it through Darryl Wakeland, one behind, and we're down to a 2-point margin. St Kilda 4-6-30, leading the Tigers 4-4-28, but given the scoring pattern, you wouldn't think they'd be in front at half time. Nice kick out though by Pekin, finds Peckett about 50 metres from the St Kilda goal. Richmond goal.
With the bike shorts on under the wide away shorts, Richmond the designated home side here today at Princes Park. Kick around the line to Sierakowski, who's fighting hard in the ruck, although Deere has been getting on top of him in this second term. Kicks in the Low direction, no mark taken. Neil got the crumb, but he's got to cough it back up to Low, who was infringed in the marking contest. Low a centering ball to his great mate Nathan Burke. Bardsley rides shotgun. Burke looking to kick though rather than handball. Another little short pass into the centre square to Zilla, who will handball to the running Burke. Forward of centre wing. He'll go long and low into the forward pocket. Who's the target? That's almost a terrific mark to Jamie Tate. Paulus has got it. Oh, football! Drop the football. Oh, it's coming back.
Matthew Jackson there, very unlucky not to get a free kick for St Kilda.
Absolutely. So Tate gets a free kick, kicks long, and Knights just buffets Sierakowski out the way and takes a fine grab.
Matthew Knights just short of centre wing for the Tigers, puts Richmond back into attack. Oh, great defensive mark in an attacking sense really by Darryl Wakeland. Handball to a great combination. Burke, Harvey, Peckett, full of run this afternoon, goes inboard, which is dangerous. Peckett honours it with Burke honours it with a brilliant take and handball to Harvey. Gee, that was good football by Nathan Burke. He's a champ and a report. Well, he was retarded, and it was by the flying leg of Nick Daffy, who's been called for, I would say, a trip or a kick.
Maybe even a kick, and is there going to be a 50-metre penalty here as well?
Gee, well, this is a bit of a moment in the afternoon. Umpire Harvey struggling to get his notebook back into his top pocket, but the notebook carries the name of Nick Daffy on what could be quite a serious charge for a flying boot. Well, Robert Harvey finds himself with a 50-metre penalty, probably too far out to score given the windy conditions. And St Kilda yet to hit the scoreboard in the quarter. He goes short, but a stumbling O'Brien opens the door for Kellaway to take an easy chest mark in defence. Kellaway looking around, not noted for his kicking, so goes back, trusts on that not so trusty left boot, gets the ball just shy of centre. Sierakowski's there over the top of Rogers, could have got a free kick, 4 in the back. Umpire calls play on, Stacks on the mill, and it's 19 v 19. Mark Neild v Zilla. Umpire Norden says, give it to me. He's a good bouncer, the ball, Norden, so that's not where his career failed. Let's have a look what he does this time.
Another good bounce. Deere flips it over his head. Peck runs onto it, screws it around the corner to right half foot. Oh, Lowe does well to keep it into the centre corridor. Was that Jackson's got it. Scramble kick towards goal. Did Sierakowski kick? Oh, Dundas almost kicked it straight to O'Brien. Callaway, interesting kick up the chimney, down it comes. Richmond under all sorts of pressure here. Shane Wakeland half throws it to Jackson, sockers it out of mid-air, kicks to full forward. Sierakowski provided the big contest. At ground level, Campbell composed to Broderick, took an early bounce, ball didn't almost come back to him, and then spears a kick out wide, and it'll run over the line, as you can see where the interchange gates are on this broadcast side of Princes Park. Crowd of around 15 or 16,000 in, and they're watching a pretty good contest. St Kilda now clinging to a 2-point lead, 4-6 to 4-4, halfway through the second.
Kicked off the ground by Broderick, only as far as the St Kilda defender might have been Bardsley. Kicks the ball up, Stuart Lowe with that magnificent pair of hands, marks on to Wakeland on the left, kicks the ball forward, beautiful play by St Kilda, and it is, wow, what fantastic play. Joel Smith comes out for his first possession of the afternoon, playing as a, I guess you'd call it, proxy full forward there for a moment.
Well, it's the right number to where to be playing full forward. Give it, it's number 4.
Joel Smith from pretty close in would be a very valuable kick. St Kilda could get a goal, and they do their first score in this second quarter, and they have been able to maintain and in fact extend their lead. St Kilda 5-6-36, leading the Tigers 4-4-28, and Joel Smith coming onto the ground with great effect.
Yeah, early top 10 draft pick, pick number 5 at last year's national draft, that big bounty the Saints had after the departure of Tony Lockett to the Sydney Swans, and of course Joel Smith wearing the famous number 4, made famous by Plugger and also the great Darryl Baldock. Shane Wakeland now in the ruck. This will be, and Wakeland gets the clearance as well. Scrambles a left foot kick in the Jackson direction. Campbell's been busy as ever for the Tigers. High up and under, almost back to centre half forward. Was that an arm chop on Brendan Gale? We're probably about 10 years before that starts getting paid. And umpire Sawyers has seen enough And he will throw it up. No, he'll bounce it, of course. Once again, we're still in the bouncing era. Bounces it quickly. Well done by Shane Wakeland again. Takes the ball out of the ruck, kicks it forward. Sierakowski, is he given away? No, free kick to Big Sierra. And he's got it right on the cricket pitch.
Gee, a bit of consternation from the Tigers fans, and he puts St Kilda into attack. And Stuart Lowe, well, boy oh boy, he is in career best form. Those fantastic mitts of his. And can he convert? He's kicked 3 behinds this afternoon. This would be on his limit, mainly because he's kicking into now what is becoming a fairly stiff breeze here at Princes Park. But he goes back, looking to convert for the Saints. Kicks it high in the air, and the wind's taken it away from the goals and drags it back in front of the goal square. Punched defensively by the Tigers. Tracked back by Zilla. Outside his own attacking 50. Puts up the hand. Gets dragged around the neck, and surely a free kick to Stephen Zilla. Even Blind Freddie could have seen that. Of course, Blind Freddie is closely related to this umpire, and the free kick is paid. So Zilla, she's playing well. Something that probably caught Richmond's eye somewhere down the track. His kick, though, is poor. Deer able to get the ball in the back line. Scrub a kick forward. Bauer is there. Goes one way, the other. Harvey picks up the loose ball. He tracks a handball back to his great mate Burke, who goes in short to Pekin. Clever kick. Clever scything pass into the breeze. And Cam Pekin, well, I still think he's too far out to score with the wind, and of course no meat in the diet makes it difficult for a man to kick distance.
What a player he's been. He's just in the last couple of weeks gone past the number of games he played for Fitzroy in that rare club of more than 100 games for 2 clubs. Game 109 for the Saints today.
The kick by Pekin. I tell you what, it's not terrible off the boot. Not terrible at all. He's guided it through. What a goal by Pekin! Well, that goes against the script. It's been hard scoring at that end, but Tim Pekin puts a line to that, and in the long sleeves, Tim Pekin, as you rightly pointed out, Beaver, a couple of clubs, 100 games for both, and gee, what a great effort. He's been a sort of a quiet achiever at league level, but loved by both sets of fans.
Yep, 107 for the Lions, game 109 for the Saints. Will it be his last season? What a player he has been. I know if Barry Moore, great Saints fan, is watching on today, he'd simply say, superb, Peaks. As Harvey, well, he gets the clearance, but it's from centre half back as Richmond forced it forward from the restart. Tracked out close to the boundary line. Peckett, almost a deliberate slip over there. Boundary line is the defender's friend. Knights keeps it alive, gets it to Bond. Left foot kick, centering ball, nice and disciplined. Gale can't take the mark. Rogers there. St Kilda defending grimly here. Ball trickles back inside the centre square. Zilla's having a fine afternoon. Speaking of that, here's Nicky Winmar. Receives the handball from Zilla. 2 bounces. Left foot kick into the forward pocket. Mark almost taken there by Smith. Ball scrambled out wide for the Tigers. Winmar about to go again. Sierakowski with the big shepherd on Miranda. Winmar then steps around that player. Centering ball again to the top of the square. Low! He's dropped the mark. St Kilda looking for 3 goals in a row. Tape sockers off the ground. Can St Kilda mount another attack? Anderson will get there first. Look away handball to Burke. Kicks it round the corner. Not a bad effort, but not a great effort either. O'Brien with the crumb, and O'Brien's kicked the goal. He's got his second, and St Kilda have banged on 3 in a hurry into the breeze, and they've pushed their lead back out to 20 points. 7-6, 48 St Kilda, 4-4, 28 Richmond on the Lenny's Deli scoreboard, 22 minutes into the second term.
Wow. You couldn't have seen it coming, Bruce. Honestly, Richmond had all the play in the first 15 to 20 minutes of this quarter, and St Kilda have stretched it out to a 20-point lead with 3 great consecutive goals. Back in the centre, Richmond, can they respond? Deer, Wakeland, sorely undersized, and as a result, Richmond able to force the ball forward. But Packett's there. He's had a fine afternoon, loses it. Knights, handballs are caught to no one in particular. Gordon Foad is that no one in particular. He's held back. An umpire says, give the ball to me, and it's going to be brought back into play, or bounced down, I should say, by Rowan Sauce. No, he's going to throw it up. He's a trailblazer. Man before his time. Darryl Wakeland there. In close quarters is Shane Wakeland. Scrubby old kick though, only as far as that would have been nailed. He taps the ball along, not as strong as Keogh, who's able to win the ball back for the Saints, and not for the first time this afternoon. Burke to Harvey, is it to Lowe? A wide of that player. Joel Smith tracking forward, and Joel Smith is bundled off the ball there by Justin Charles. A kick out defensively by Richmond, only as far as Zilla. Great tap off the ground. St Kilda playing brilliantly. Harvey an opportunity, evasive skill superb, shoots on goal, goal! What a great piece of play by the Saints! 4 on end, and Richmond are back almost where they were at quarter time, 26 points in arrears.
What a brilliant goal by Robert Harvey. Surely this man has got at least one, maybe two Brownlows in him. Look at that score, 8-6-54. Richmond 4-4-28 after the Tigers had closed to within a couple of points. And I'll tell you what is so noticeable, and once again with crystal balling, the lack of time between goals and the restart. Now seems like it's a terrible bounce by umpire Sawyers. Goes straight to Anderson, not recalled of course. Tackled by Campbell, play on the call. Surely there's going to be a whistle as Shane Wakeland is making his presence felt, and a point to the umpire saying he was infringed in the ruck contest by the veteran in Greg Deere. And they go at it again. Oh, Wakeland does very well to nullify the contest. And Bardsley emerges with it. St Kilda running on top of the ground at the moment. The handball to Winmar. Left foot kick out wide. Little Matthew Jackson the target. Dundas eases him out of it. Recovers best. Handballs to Tape, and he kicks down to centre wing.
Where Knights is on the receiving end of a decent kick this time. The left footer kicks the ball to true centre half forward. Shanahan with a great spoil, and at the base of the play is Wakeland. All of a sudden, St Kilda are everywhere, outnumbering their favoured opponents. Rogers slides on the ball, gets a handball, but quickly perceives the front, and that's a tough call against big Justin Charles. Holding the ball, didn't have much time, and Rod Keogh, I guess momentum is a wonderful thing, and the umpires are feeling it. Rod Keogh kicks the ball forward, low, one hand, juggles, but spoilt by the Tigers, who knocked the ball back defensively. Zilla brilliantly onto the ball. Joel Smith evades one, the other, goes with a little kick, goals. Oh! Gee, that was close, but great defensive play by the Tigers. I think you'll find this is either a free kick or a behind, and Justin Charles will receive the free kick. That was courageous play. He might be 6'5", but it still took a fair bit of fortitude to put his body on the line with the likes of Stephen Zilla bearing down on him. So Justin Charles, deep in defence, and his kick is barely clearing the 50-metre line, so still under pressure. Anderson rows well. Zilla around the body. What St Kilda wouldn't do for another one here. It's smothered though. The ball right at the top of the goal square. Hardly a battle of strength there between Jackson and Dundas, and it finally forced through for a behind.
St Kilda pressing hard into the breeze as well. Their last 15 minutes has been sensational stuff after the Tigers rattled on 4 goals in a hurry at the start of the second term to whittle St Kilda's lead down to just a couple of points. Well done there again by Shane Wakeland, who is a mobile ruckman following on from Sirakovsky's lead in the first quarter. Has really competed hard and certainly been better than Greg Deere at ground level. He's now got to gather himself and go against, I assume it's going to be Deere. It is. Oh, Deere wins the tap brilliantly. Down to Knights. Handball to Rogers. He's going to pump it to centre half forward. Peeking there. Oh, great mark by Bauer, who's been one of the Tigers' best. And Richmond certainly need a goal late in this second term, with the very much fancied Tigers trailing by 27 points as we've crossed 28 minutes of this second quarter. Nathan Bauer on the siren. In fact, now after the siren, from 48 metres, it's a high drop punt, but he's tugged it out to the left, and a minor score. So at half-time, Richmond trail by 26 points. 4-5, as you can see, A is beating B quite comfortably, and E is doing the same to F. 4-5-29 Richmond, 8-7-55 St Kilda at half-time.
So here we are, ready to commence the second half of play with an unlikely scoreline. St Kilda leading by 26 points, second bottom, showing at the moment second top the way to go. Rogers receives from a Greg Deere tap out. Did he get a free kick? Umpire says no, and he's happy to bounce the ball down again. Umpire Harvey. St Kilda, undersized in the ruck, have actually competed pretty well and got many of the clearances. This time over the top, going third up is Gordon Fode, who gets it down as far as Keogh. With brute strength, he's able to get the ball forward. Here's a chance. Low and Bullis at the drop of the ball. Is that a free kick to Joel Smith? It is not. Quite incredible, really. But the ball will be thrown in about 20 metres around from the St Kilda attacking goal.
Perfect example at the moment as to why Big Jack Elliott has been pleading with the AFL or the Melbourne City Council to install lights at this famous old venue, Princes Park. Very gloomy conditions, and it's looking pretty gloomy for the Tigers as Wayne Campbell gets the clearing kick. Pekin flies. Rogers with courage, same way as the flight of the footy. Winmar's got it from 45. This would be a miracle snap.
You know, the wind caught that ball, and I would advise Carlton to spend tens of millions of dollars on a stand that nobody will sit in to shield a kick like that in the future.
And get some lights and improve the surface. But apart from that,
and win a few wooden spoons.
Yeah, it's a wonderful place to watch football. Not. Wayne Campbell with the kick in from the left back pocket, right in front of the Pawtucket ham sign, which of course you can pick up at Lenny's Deli.
No, you can't, because being a Jewish deli, it's a product that we would never sell.
Right,
the ball there, 15 metres out.
How well am I going?
Oh, well, I had McLaren, you had the Pawtucket hams. The ball 15 metres out from the St Kilda goal, and you can tell by the actual litter that's blowing around the ground that St Kilda are kicking with a strong breeze this quarter. I'll tell you what, if Richmond can't eat into this lead, and if St Kilda can build on it, it's trouble for the high-flying Tigers. Umpire Norton's going to call for a bounce. I wonder what happened to umpire Norton.
Tell you what, Fine, it's looking like about a heavy 8 over in that part of the stadium.
It is.
Clumps of turf misplaced.
Yeah, it's. Mate, you'd have to think that the league would consider an indoor stadium at this point, given the standard of grounds, but it's 1995. The internet barely exists, so who knows? Tape. Was he tackled without the ball? Umpire says no. Nash, who's barely touched it this afternoon, he needs to get into the game, is second to the ball once again as Keogh hands it back to umpire Norden. It's Serakowski, he's too short, but I'll tell you what, at the drop of the ball, well, Pekin, he certainly hasn't had a nice-like afternoon. He's been brilliant and kicks the ball forward for St Kilda. Oh, look at that, still low, says to Bauer. Well, you want to feel what it's like to run into a real He-Man? Thank you, Lou Richards. Then that's what it's like.
Wasn't it in Norden that was the long-term chaplain at Pentridge? I wonder if there was any relation. Strange name. Anderson's snaps at goal after crumbing and across the face. Yes, look at all that litter inside the fence line here at Princes Park. Very blustery day. St Kilda by 26 points, and they're attacking in the early stages of this third term. Left forward pocket at the big scoreboard or city end of the stadium. Low and Bullis to do the ruck work. Almost a falcon there on Paul Bullis, who's had a poor afternoon. Anderson throws it over his shoulder. Campbell, one of Richmond's best, gets it to Dundas. Scrambles a kick outside defensive 50. Burke almost juggles the mark. Winmar with the crumbs on the left foot, just pushed as he kicked it. Campbell saving the day for the Tigers again. Goes the spiral, and Sirakowski sits underneath it and takes a fine mark on centre wing.
He's had a great afternoon, Serakowski. Certainly not necessarily winning in the ruck, but having the best of gear around the ground. Now, low, either a mark or a free kick. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. And the umpire agrees. Probably paid the free kick there. And this time, Stuart Lowe, surely, he's had, I reckon, 5 shots at goal. And yet to record a major. This would be a great start to the Saints in the second half. When you consider they lead by 26, they could stretch it out beyond 5 goals. Well, I guess Richmond could point to early injuries to Callaway and to Burke as the reason their defence seems a little undermanned at the moment. Stuart Lowe goes back, stabs at it, good enough! Right through the middle, only travelled about 30 metres, but it brings up the 2 Calicos, and St Kilda now 32 points of the good on the old Princes Park scoreboard, 9-7-61, leading Richmond 4-5-29.
Yes, the man mountain, Stuart Lowe, mark and or free kick as Finey called, and pushes St Kilda's lead out. This is a match high, 32 points. Sierakowski wins the tap, down to Keogh to Winmar, who's had an explosive start to the third term, waits the pass, and Shane Wakeland, running the same way as the flight of the footy, has marked it left half forward, and a straight kick here from that 45-degree angle. The kick, as you can see, will have to travel about 40 metres. It would spell big trouble for the Tigers. Shane Wakeland with a straight number 12. Thank you, Russell Morris, who of course had the crooked number 12. He allows for the breeze. He doesn't allow enough, and in fact bounces through for a minor score. 33-point lead, 9-8, plays 4-5. St Kilda all over Richmond like a cheap suit this afternoon at Princes Park. And we've still got a lot of time remaining in this third quarter with the Saints kicking with the breeze.
Richmond just had that burst in the second quarter for 15 minutes, but otherwise it has been all St Kilda in every sense of the word. Now, Robert Harvey in the short sleeves for the second half. Evades one, tries to do too much, and the umpire pings him for holding the ball. Probably a fair call. Nash, who has been asked to do more, takes the receiving free kick. The ball, thanks to Rogers, goes out to centre wing. Was Darryl Wakeland impeded there? He wanted the umpire to think so. He emphasised it, and the umpire was, well, he agreed. Let's just say sometimes acting is worth it. He's taken the free kick well away from the man on the mark, so he's asked to come back in what is a bit of a break in play. When Wakeland went back for that kick, it reminded me of another number 12, certainly not a better player, but a better kick in Mark Jackson, playing for St Kilda for that short period of time. The ball goes into the St Kilda forward line, could be a free kick to Richmond. Umpire says yes, and it's Bauer who earlier on in the quarter was unceremoniously dumped by Stuart Lowe. Apparently he's caught the attention of the trainer, might have some blood there from that knock as well. Centre wing, Rod Keogh. He's perfectly built for these conditions, strong as a bull, and he is, could have got a free kick, umpire balling it up just forward of centre for the Saints.
Two things standing out to me, Finey, as we go back in time. Jumpers tucked in and socks up. Anyway, 1995, late in the season, St Kilda showing Richmond a clean pair of heels at Princes Park. Scrappy passage of play. Burke eventually thumps the ball sideways, not forward. Bardsley never got a run at it. Charging through there, Matty Rogers for the Tigers. He kicks out towards right half forward. Shanahan and Jerica. Shanahan just a little strong. Oh, clever hands. Nice little handball to Bardsley. That's as deliberate as you'd ever want to see, but he won't be pinned because it was a different era. Fode was never a chance of having a play at that. And we'll have a boundary throw in slightly into Richmond's attacking half. In front of the old Gardner stand. How has that survived the ravages of time? One will never know. As Deere wins the tap. Anderson might have been getting held. Nation's had a dirty afternoon. Wild handball forward looking for Daffy. Peckett was good, solid, but then he overran the footy. Daffy, he's already got his number in the book for a kick or a trip on Harvey. Gets it to Nash. Nash thumps it towards the top of the square. And the mark has been taken there by Benny Gale. And he will go back, Big Benny, from a very slight angle and try and kick the Tigers fifth, a badly needed one because they trail by 33 points before the kick.
Credit where credit's due. Nash, we mentioned just at the start of the second half, he'd done very little in the first half, but he has actually lit them up a little bit in this early part of the second half.
And they do need a spark, Mark. There is no doubt about that. So Benny Gale, who's kicking at times, can be interesting to say the least. But as the great Lou Richards would say, you'd have to fall over to miss it from there. He makes the goal umpire work along. Oh, he has! Oh, my God. He's missed it from 12 metres out on the slightest of angles. Maybe he should have fallen over. Richmond, 4-6-30. St Kilda, 9-8-62 on the Lenny's Deli scoreboard with Darryl Wakeland to bring the ball back into play.
Darryl Wakeland sinks the boot into the ball, clears the 50-metre line, and not for the first time this afternoon, finds his brother Shane Wakeland. So a bit of synergy there. And I'll tell you what, I reckon last time he found Shane kicked the ball terribly, and he's been able to do it again. So almost an instant replay from the first quarter. Wakeland to Wakeland, out of bounds. Dead centre wing. The boundary umpire to throw the ball back into play. St Kilda, 32 points to the good, and this is starting to get serious for a team with top-of-the-table aspirations in Richmond. Have a look at Zeller. Keogh. Easy to confuse the two because they're so similar style of footballer. Goes out of bounds, but great conditions for the likes of Keogh and Zilla, and I think that's where St Kilda stole it a march this afternoon. They're first to the tough ball, and I know it takes you back to Little League days, but they seem hell-bent, even in a ball up, to be the man to hand the ball back to the umpire. Just water centre wing for the Saints. Serakowski uses his body well. Keogh, not built like... Pekin, not built like Keogh, but able to do well in the crushes this afternoon, as does this man, Harvey. Handballs out to young Joel Smith, who picks it up beautifully, swerves away on the left foot. I think a free kick against St Kilda. Is it all for St Kilda? Now this is interesting. I thought there might have been a free kick against the Saints for impeding the tackling player.
Yeah.
An illegal shepherd, but the umpire called play on, and as a result, what was a mark, in fact was earlier, played a free kick to Stuart Lowe. I tell you what, wouldn't he love to get his first goal here, Bruce, because that would put St Kilda...
Even his second.
Oh, his second. Well, there you go. You're right, his second goal, he's kicked one this quarter. He goes back, and that is number 2. The kicking boots are on for the second half, and St Kilda they're almost off to the races. I mean, Richmond are in a world of hurt here. 4-6-30. Second to bottom St Kilda, 10-8-68. They've flipped the script all right this afternoon. They're kicking with a breeze. They've got still another good 15 to 20 minutes of it. This might be out of Richmond's reach before we get to the three-quarter time Oranges.
Is it going to be one of the upsets of the season? Finally, you're right. We're only 12 minutes into the third quarter. Umpire Norden gets us underway again. Not one of his best bounces of the day. Favours Sirakowski. The toe pokes a kick to Zilla. Ball to boot quickly. Inside forward 50. Gets to the back of the contest. Bauer can't control it. Now he's got it. Well tackled by Shane Wakeland. Ball spills free. Rogers, is he going to be run down by Jackson? How he steams away. He is a fine young footballer, this man. Left foot kick left a bit to be desired, but it finds the safety of the boundary line. And we'll have a throw in front of the John Elliott stand on this broadcast side of the stadium. Yes, don't clean out your ears or rub your eyes, folks. That scoreboard is correct. 10-8-68 St Kilda, 4-6-30 Richmond, almost halfway through the third term. Sirakowski wins it down to Keogh. Half paddled it to Burke. High ball, it's a shallow forward 50 entry. O'Brien front and centre like any good crummer should be. Got it to Joel Smith, dispossessed immediately. Opposite number 4, Rogers gets it and he kicks it out into open space.
First to the ball there is Justin Peckett, misses with a kick off the ground. O'Brien hasn't had a lot of it, but what he has had has been effective. Kicks it forward this time, an intercepting mark and a good run by Jamie Tate. No question there, Stuart Lowe throws his head back in disbelief, but it definitely was a mark by Tate, whose kicking's been terrible, and that is no exception. A short kick intercepted by Wakeland. Swings around on the left boot, looking for Lowe. He bounces before him, makes it easy for Bullets to spoil, and in an almost slow motion piece of football, the ball founds the boundary line, I should say, about 60 metres out, no, 40 metres out from the St Kilda goal. They're attacking to screen left. They've got the 38-point advantage. Richmond have got all the problems. For the first time this afternoon, St Kilda's got the height advantage in the ruck. Wakeland against Tate, gets it down to Burke, Knights at the base of the pack, and another throw-in, this time closer to the St Kilda goal.
Heaviest part of the playing surface, this right half forward area at the city end of the ground. St Kilda by 38 points. Taking on the second place, Tigers. Harvey, what a crumb, banana kick, is a goal! Oh, they can do no wrong. Robert Harvey with a superb goal, that is the goal of the day. And St Kilda moved to 11-8-74. Richmond anchored on 4-6-30. Halves receives the congratulations from Tim Pekin and Stephen Ziller and the like, and look at that scoreboard. That is beautiful reading if you're a Saints man. 44 points to the good. Just over halfway through the third term. We didn't see this coming, Finey.
I can tell you this, for St Kilda supporters, what started as a fantasy is quickly turning into a wonderful reality. Beating a top 4 team, and tell you what, could be the platform for things to come in years to come. Jason Tourney got a bit of the ball there for one of the rare times this afternoon. Gets it out to Bond. Those two players need to live. Was Wakeland held in the contest by Gale? Umpire says no. Peckett paddling the ball defensively. Clever play. He's taken no risks and the ball goes out of bounds. Great play there by Justin Peckett wearing number 8. I'll tell you what, throughout his career he'll end up having more numbers than a drug dealer, Justin Peckett, but a great career for the Saints. I think he started in the 50s, did he?
certainly wore 29. At one stage there, did we have about 4 or 5 players in the side at the one time that had all worn 29?
Yeah, well, certainly Berkey.
Yes. Now you're going to want me to give other
names. We'll get back to that shortly. As Winmar tracks the ball forward for St Kilda, being hotly pursued by Tawney. And Tawney, very quiet afternoon, could only smother the sort of scuffle the ball forward about 15 metres. It stacks on the mill. Miranda, he's seeing little of the ball as well. Was that
Andrew Thompson and Ozzie Jones.
Brilliant work. Was that a sneaky little forearm there by Miranda on Keogh? Well, if it was, you picked the wrong man, Mark. There's better people to get angry than Rod Keogh. I'll contend to that much. The ball tapped down, shark by Pekin. He gets a handball to Gordon Fode, who bustles his way through. Good play. Peckett holds up, waiting for Joel Smith. St Kilda first to the ball. Richmond can't seem to get their hands on the bloody thing. Keogh again. Burke. Pekin. Bardsley. It's all St Kilda. Leather poisoning for the red, white and black as the ball's kicked long to what a great leading forward and low. He centres it to Peckett. Peckett, 30 metres out, directly in front. Scrubbing kick hits the post. Justin! That would have been some goal. It went through about 15 sets of St Kilda hands, and Richmond were nothing but statues along the way.
Oh, that was a procession, and that probably would have slammed the door shut on any potential Richmond comeback. Bauer at the kick in. As it is, they're 7.5 goals down, the second place Tigers. Out wide, Nations had a dirty afternoon, although slightly better in this third quarter. Little dribble kick around the line and we'll have a boundary throw in. 11-9 plays 4-6. Incredible scoreline at Princes Park. Second place Richmond against second last place St Kilda. Designated home game for the Tigers, as you can see in the black shorts. Charles and Sierakowski, 0-0 draw there. Pekin, little handball to Harvey, who wasn't expecting it. Prescott battles on, left foot kick, almost reaches centre wing. Dundas stood under it with courage. Bardsley at the front, got round one would-be tackler. Wobbles a kick to centre foot. Oh, O'Brien in from the side. Puts his claim in for mark of the day, but didn't hang on. Tries to paddle the ball forward. Zilla got it quickly to Fode. Snap kick to full forward, low. Was that over the shoulder? Matthew Jackson, run down by Bauer. Winmar grabs it, and he misses to the near side as well. Just hooked the kick too far. And St Kilda now peppering Finey. 11-10, 76 to Richmond 4-6-30. And that, as you see down the bottom of the scoreboard, after the Trevor Barker coached reserves fucked the Tigers in the early game too.
I've got to ask the question, what is a team with Mark Neal, Paul Bullis, Nathan Bauer, Mark Miranda, Jason Tawney and David Burke doing second on the ladder? I certainly don't have any answers this afternoon. The ball to centre wing. Broderick's able to scrub it forward. But once again, St Kilda, Pekin and Keogh. Haven't I called their names? Haven't we called their names this afternoon on a number of occasions? So the case with Nathan Burke, who kicks it forward to O'Brien, who's starting to really stamp his authority on the game. And it is authority. He's kicked goals in both quarters, in first and second quarter. So he's certainly had an effect, and now he's getting his hands on the ball. We know how dangerous he is around goals. He goes back. It's a thumping long kick just near side, one behind. St Kilda, whether they're doing it in increments of 1 or 6, are just edging that score up to something that Richmond will not be able to attain. Look, they're 8 goals up in Richmond as we approach three-quarter time to kick 4 for the afternoon. It looks like a sad and sorry day for the men in yellow and black.
Let's hope Craig O'Brien ignores the advances of those pesky Sydney Swans who want to get him up north. They've already done enough damage to the St Kilda playing list, the red and whites. As the kick out, well, that's a good mark by Justin Charles there. Big pack mark by the versatile ruckman forward. Charles loads up with a drop punt. As Anderson got into the back of Campbell, it doesn't matter because Wayne Campbell has taken the mark close to the turf on the outer centre wing. Wheels around. Richmond badly need a goal or two. Kicks in the Gale direction. Winmar's claiming the mark. Bond and Knight sit over the top of him, hailing a cab. And umpire Norden's done a lot of adjudicating today. And he says, give it to me. He'll throw it up about 48 out from the Richmond goal.
They desperately need a goal. They have to hit this three-quarter time break with some sort of reduction in St Kilda's 47-point lead. Darryl Wakeland will have none of it though. Rhodes his own good rucking. Centre wing, Prescott's there. Did Harvey get into his back? I think he did, and the umpire will pay a free kick against the champion St Kilda midfielder. Ash Prescott, not a bad footballer himself, swings around on the right boot, kicks the ball short of true centre-half forward. It's out near the boundary. Good play by Broderick tonight. A couple of Richmond's better players this afternoon. Good centering kick. Jamie Tape in an unusual spot. Douglas Rhodes. Douglas goals. Well, an unlikely target at full forward, Jamie Tape, but his contest was good enough to bring the ball to ground, and the bun-headed Dundas was at the drop of the ball and was able to kick it 12 metres out from goal, just made the distance and threw it, went for a goal for the Tigers. You talked about the Swans plundering of St Kilda over the years. It certainly has ripped the heart out of St Kilda. The likes of Favia, Whitty, Malcolm Scott, these players all ending up in the red and white.
I was more thinking Tony Lockett, of course. The Saints did pinch Silvio Fascioni and Paul Maud some dozen years ago. Now, is this going to be the fire starter for the Tigers? They need a couple more into the breeze, and here they come again. Campbell to Charles. Charles from 55 metres kicks it over the head of Broderick. Tape has been moved to full forward. Strange move, but effective. Handball to Daffy. Left foot snap across the face. And Nathan Burke, same way as the flight of the footy, takes the mark and didn't break stride. Straightens the body, takes a bounce. High, long kick to centre wing. Huge back fly. Sirakoski did well to create a contest against three Tigers and then tries to throw his weight around. Bardsley almost throws it. In fact, I reckon he did. He got away with one there. Anderson, the little fumble, but recovered best. Handball to Burke. Low ball was superb. And he picks out Gordon Fode, who's taken the mark almost at centre wing.
Gordon Fode, always looking to put that big slipper of his into the ball, goes back and sends the ball once again into St Kilda's attacking area. Harvey trying to outposition his opponent. O'Brien did well at the drop of the ball. Was it caught too high? Umpire says no, you ducked into it. And a free kick to Bauer for Richmond, holding the ball against the nuggety St Kilda forward. Bauer having a bit of a better third quarter here. Has to move the ball on. 41 points of difference. Can Richmond get 2 consecutive goals in this quarter? The ball goes forward. Justin Charles getting a bit of the ball in the last few minutes. He was quiet in the first half. Marks in front of his corresponding number 15, Darryl Wakeland, goes back, swings the ball to centre half forward, makeshift forward. Tape gets up in front of Shanahan, who's easily picks the ball off him. Shanahan at the drop of the ball. Daffy there as well. Stacks on the mill. Richmond showing a little bit more desperation. No, the game's on the line, but Shanahan will have none of it. And a good defensive piece of work. Hands the ball back to Norden safely for a bounce. About 30 metres out, Breeze, from the Richmond goal. They're attacking to the Royal Parade or the Heatley stand into the ground.
And their fans have found voice now as well. Finey packed into the George Harris stand, which would make them probably choke on their Carlton draft this afternoon as well, as we will have another stoppage still in a dangerous area for the St Kilda defence inside Richmond's forward 50. They'd love another one here, trailing by 41 points but coming home with the breeze.
It's funny, you've got the George Harris stand, the Jack Elliott stand. I'm surprised they've got a Jack the Ripper stand at this ground.
Kellaway with the kick forward. Will Nash take the mark? Shanahan with the double-fisted punch. Danger not inverted yet. Winmar, a brilliant handball. Heard the voice of Pekin. Comes off the back edge of the square. Lovely pass to Joel Smith. Doesn't he look a player? Let's hope he's a one-club player. Joel Smith just inside the centre square. Off a step. Kicks to the lead and low! Low. Takes the mark of the afternoon. Directly in front. 40 metres out. Spread eagling the pack. Too strong, too tall for two Tiger defenders. And he'll go back and line up for his third.
Wow. Well, they moved Jarika back to full back. Now, I'm not saying Jarika's much of a defender, but he is a fair mountain to climb over or to get past. And he's done a Sir Edmund Hillary there, and he's climbed the big mountain and taken the mark.
Well, I'm calling it. If Stuart Lowe kicks this Finey, I can't see any way back for the Tigers, even coming home with this stiff breeze. St Kilda 41 points up before the Stuart Lowe kick as the sun breaks through. It's shining on the Saints this afternoon as well. Drop punt. Oh, he's missed. Big Lowe's missed. It is a 7-goal game. 42 points the margin. 11-12, 78 to 5-6, 36. 6 goals, 6 the margin. We're almost into time on of the third quarter.
It is still critical for the Tigers, and that kicking is beautifully marked by Pekin. Gee, it'd be hard to pick a best on ground for St Kilda today. Was that 50? No, fair enough. Accidental contact. Hard to pick a best on ground. Certainly a St Kilda player, and Peakin's putting his hands up as one of the nominations, though the hand goes back down with a poor kick into the forward line, easily picked off by Bauer, easily having his best quarter of the game. Bauer, Peakin-like in build, kicks the ball back to where Tim Peakin was, but this time standing underneath him is Gale, brilliantly spoiled by the much shorter man. That was Nathan Burke. Harvey swings around on the left. Underrated part of his game is passing with the left into the forward line, and he picks out Stuart Lowe with a pinpoint pass, and if Stuart Lowe can reverse what has generally been parlous goal kicking, he has been profligate in front of goal, but as you said, Bruce, I think we're one goal away from no way home for the Tigers. Is this the one that closes the door on the second placed side in the AFL competition? So, it's second bottom versus second top. You've got the script. Lowy, to put it beyond their reach almost, goes back. Not a bad kick. Not a bad kick at all. Come and catch it if you can, Richmond. You're 48 points behind.
What a turn up. What an absolute turn up. 12-12 to 5-6. Stuart Lowe with his third goal of the third quarter. As we see the city skyline in the background. And this has been a stunning upset to date. And also, well, it's not that important, Richmond, with percentage, given they've been involved in a draw, but their confidence is taking a hammering here at Princes Park in this cold and blustery Saturday afternoon, round 17 of the 95 season.
You know, we had a look at that skyline. I noted that there was very little development around Docklands. You know what we should do after the game, Bruce?
Go and purchase some land there.
Why not? It's only swamp land. It wouldn't be much.
Now, Keogh's kicked that inside forward 50, and this is going to be another free kick. Stuart Lowe will receive the free kick for a push in the marking contest, and he'll go back and line up for his fourth goal, all in this third quarter, here at Princes Park. We won't call it by its corporate telecommunications name, as you can see there at the top of the scoreboard, because they're not tipping any money into this broadcast. 12-12 plays 5-6 before the Stuart Lowe kick. Slow, deliberate approach, 45-degree angle, the kick to travel just over 40 metres. Drop punt on the way, he snuck it in, and the Saints are well and truly home. They have demolished Richmond here at Princes Park on this Saturday afternoon of round 17. 27 minutes into the third term. St Kilda 13-12-90. Richmond 5-6-36 as we go to the forlorn coaching box of the Tigers. John Northey, well, if he had any hair left to pull out, he would be scratching his head wondering how on earth he's going to turn the Tigers' fortunes around.
Of course, Northey made his name as a reserves footballer with St Kilda. Ball brought to ground, and what a quarter it's been by Stuart Lowe. Well,
he coached the reserves, didn't he?
And played for them.
And played for him post his fine career at Richmond when Mike Patterson was senior coach.
100%. 100% correct. Enjoyed watching him run around in the early games and then coaching for the Saints. But what a quarter that's just come to an end, not only for St Kilda but for Stuart Lowe. Did he kick 4 that quarter?
He certainly did. 4 of St Kilda's 5, and the Saints lead it by 8-6, which is 54 points at the final change, finding 13-12-90 to 5-6-36.
Well, we're all ready to start the final quarter in St Kilda with a 54-point lead. Well, it would take league history virtually for St Kilda to lose this game. And of course, St Kilda knows how to lose games with big leads. But you'd have to say, on what we've seen this afternoon, with Richmond barely able to get their hands on the ball for most of it, that they're only playing now for pride, Richmond, and they've shown precious little of it in the first 3 quarters. The ball picked up by Robert Harvey. He's quickly working his way into vote contention, along with Stuart Lowe, along with Keogh, along with Peakin, along with Burke, along with a number of St Kilda players. The ball goes forward. Knights is there at the drop of the ball, tracked back by Burke. Nate, tackled by Shanahan. He's done nothing wrong. I tell you what, I've got to ask you this question. Danny Frawley was named on team sheets. I don't think he's playing though this afternoon.
No, he hasn't. Hasn't taken his spot, the St Kilda captain, as they're closing in on his, well, it is his final season of league football. We haven't got an update as to what the ailment was for the great Spud Frawley. He'd be very proud watching on as his teammates have completely dismantled Richmond to the tune of 54 points across the first 3 quarters.
Just as St Kilda's dominating Richmond, now umpire Norton dominating the umpire. I don't know whether the other two are still at the ground. The ball there tapped out defensively by St Kilda. They don't mind to see the clock wind its way down. Look, as you said, it was a poor start to the season by the Saints, but they have picked up some momentum. A great win against the Cats at the MCG, and now this win against Richmond, and all of a sudden, actually a bit of a problem here for the Tigers. Well, this is a worry. This is a worry because this is a star player who they could ill afford to miss any games of football. Wayne Campbell being seen to by the trainers. Daffy able to snap the ball forward. A good tussle there between Wakeland and Gale. Wakeland giving no quarter. The ball comes to the ground. Bond is there and Shanahan back on top of the ball. I'll tell you what, the stats won't say it, but Shanahan's been near faultless this afternoon and he's beaten Zarika. Zarika's gone to full back and proving a true swingman. Zarika is as bad a full back as he is a full forward. The ball brought down by Gale. Once again stacks on the Mill Beaver. Broderick's there. Keogh's there. The 217s wrestle for it, but it's all with a 54-point lead to St Kilda.
Yes, Jamie Shanahan well placed to take over as the Saints' number 1 key defender after Spud Frawley retires at the end of this season, which is just 5 weeks away for the Saints. No finals for St Kilda this year, but gee, they're doing some damage in the run-in. The big upset against the Cats a couple of weeks ago at the MCG, and now taking down the second-placed Tigers here at Princes Park. Of course, in the run-in, they've still got Footscray at Footscray in the final game of the year, which will be a very emotional day, being the great Spud Frawley's final game. I'm tipping the Saints might cause a big upset that day as well. Now, umpire John Harvey, he's had plenty of whistling to do in the last few moments. He calls for it again, and he's going to throw it up about 20 metres out from the Richmond goal. Sirakoski and Charles. Sirakoski wins it down to Zilla, paddles it further afield, but only as far as a Tiger player there who I couldn't quite pick up.
Incredibly bullish at full forward. This is now becoming almost comedic by John Northern.
Now, Broderick's grabbed it, and he's missed. Quick snap at goal, and a point when the Tigers desperately need 6 pointers. 5-7-37, plays 13-12-90 with Winmar taking the kick in.
And you might have caught that off the scoreboard, but rounding out a great afternoon for St Kilda in the Little League. St Kilda 3 straight, too good for the Little Tigers, 1 goal 1.
Magnificent performance all round.
That ball banged back by Chris Bond. A little bit of tennis at the moment. It's going back and forwards and it's knocked out. St Kilda, this suits them down to the ground. Or really doesn't. When you're 53 points up, you shouldn't be defending a lead. You should actually be considering putting this second place Richmond further to the sword. Anyhow, St Kilda defending stoutly. Serakowski dangerously punches it to the boundary only as far as Bond. And now Kellaway's in the forward line. Well, why not? If you're getting thrashed by the second bottom team, why not do what they do in a under-9s? Tell the forward line to go back and the back line to go forward. That's where John Northey is this afternoon, a testimony to how St Kilda has dominated this game. Almost thrown out of the ruck by Gale, volleyball-like, down to his rover, but no go. That rover, incredibly, 10 metres from goal is Kellaway. He doesn't need to look far to find Bullis. Taper's had to go up forward. It's a strange old afternoon. Bond gets a snap away, only as far as the smothering Winmar, and it stacks on the mill. The game is ground almost to a standstill.
Yeah, pretty ugly football at the moment, but it suits the Saints fine. Richmond coming home with the breeze. They'll be trying to, they like to say with the following week, you start the following week how you finish the previous week. Richmond, can they make a bit of a statement in this last quarter? Because they have been woeful today. Neal chases it close to the boundary line. Keogh for company. Mark Neal does pretty well then. And didn't quite like the attention of the rugged Keogh, but he'd run out of tarmac. And it will be a boundary throw in, 55 around from the Richmond goal. 53 points is the St Kilda lead. Charles and Sirakoski, deep throwing. We don't say that too often. Now, Burke, was he pushed in the back? I fancy he was. Not a lot in it. But Nathan Burke, he of the helmet, will take the free kick at left half back for the Saints.
I guess if Melbourne had the benefit of a time machine and were able to, have their time over, I wonder whether they would have picked Mark Neal as coach. I wonder whether Richmond would have picked him as a player. Anyhow, that's all for the future. The ball to be thrown back in. Wakeman and Charles. Broderick over the top and Winmar over the top of him. Gee, they've taken that out of footy and I wish they'd bring it back. Nothing wrong with it. Miranda gets the ball to a teammate, kicks it forward, but Pekin, one of the men I said could easily be a three-voter, to Zilla. He's had a pretty good afternoon too. Standing underneath the ball, Tony Brown gets it to ground. Keogh, who's been fantastic in these heavy conditions, finds probably the best man on the ground, if you've got to be subjective, and that would be Stuart Lowe. 4 goals, plenty of shots at goal, and by far the best forward in the ground. Kicks it to a superstar in Winmar, who takes an egg-goal mark, and Richmond are nothing more than spectators to what is, even though they're second bottom on the ladder, a pretty darn good football team this afternoon at Princes Park. Winmar, 35 metres out, shielded by the Hawthorn stand. That's the right side to be kicking from. Goes back, but the wind does get it in the end and takes it away from goal. One behind, Dundas to kick the ball in. So St Kilda, 54 points of the good, Bruce. Look at little Dundas. How could you let that fella kick the ball in? Anyhow, we'll see what he does with it.
So Richmond has made no impression on the three-quarter time lead. It is still where it started at 54 points, and he kicked it straight to Darryl Wakeman,
No surprise.
who was marked 60 metres out here at Princes Park. Very dark conditions now as Wakeland off the side of the boot. No kick in the later region. Anderson at the back, the flying shot, and it bounces across the face and a minor score. St Kilda now 13-14, 92. Richmond 5-7, 37. This match of the day from Princes Park as Campbell brings it back into play.
McDonald's might have the apple turnover, but once again Richmond have the Dundas turnover as the ball picked up by Zilla puts the Saints back into attack. Was that a push in the back against O'Brien? Yes, it was. Yes, it was. But his corresponding number 28, Miranda, could not convince the umpire, and O'Brien will go back. And you get a sense now that the umpires are almost acting as judge and jury here and are telling Richmond, you know what, you're not going to get the 50-50s because you haven't put in a decent shift of work this afternoon. So O'Brien, been a great foil to Stuart Lowe up forward for St Kilda, goes back, and this one's close, but again the wind takes it, and again just off to the left-hand side of the goals. And have a look at the taciturn looks on the Richmond cheer squad members. They wouldn't know what the word means, but they certainly know how it feels. The ball to be kicked in by Rogers. Knocked on by Gale. Come on, Richmond, get a possession. Yes, they do, sort of surprisingly. It's Bond, back to Rogers, this time to Bullis. Daffy, well caught by Shanahan. Well taken in the grips of the man. He did start his career actually at Fitzroy, but never got a senior game. To centre wing, Burke dives on top of it, and Beaver, it's all St Kilda.
It certainly is, finding as Burke wobbles a kick forward to centre wing. There's the two 28s going at it again, Miranda and O'Brien. And we'll have a boundary throw in. And Charles to do the ruck work against Sirakoski, who has teamed excellently with Shane Wakeland today in the ruck. Campbell at the back. Good to see he's recovered from that blow earlier in the term. Spirals a long ball inside forward 50. Rogers at the back. Was he pushed by Pekin? Well, he was, but legally, says the umpire. Socket off the ground. That looked like by Bardsley. Peckett gives chase. He's got Nash right on his hammer. Close to the boundary line. And Peckett's kicked it out of bounds on the full. Frankie Peckett, unfortunately there, has kicked it out of bounds on the full. Nash takes the kick quickly. And he centred it to Benny Gale, who marks unattended slight angle 30 to 35 out, and he'll go back and look to kick the Tigers' 6th goal, but it will trim the deficit by, well, obviously by 6 points, but it will still stand at 50 points, even if Big Benny kicks truly here. He's fought hard this afternoon, the Richmond key forward and occasional ruckman. Drop punt on the way, allows for the breeze, and he's guided it home. So Richmond get the first goal of the final term, but it's taken 10 minutes plus a little bit of change, almost 11 minutes in fact, into the quarter. 6-7-43. That's the Tigers. 13-15, 93 St Kilda, as the floggers at the Robert Heatley stand end get waved as the yellow and black celebrate a rare goal this afternoon at Princes Park.
So, St Kilda, 50 points to the good on the Lenny's Deli scoreboard. Located in North Caulfield. Many St Kilda supporters come in, and of course, all are welcome. In fact, all supporters are welcome, apart from a couple of clubs beginning to see. So, the ball there, taken by Tate. Handballs to Dundas, and he flicks the ball out wide to Bond. He's not been their worst.
And you're not talking Carnegie or Coldstream.
No. As we all know, there are three teams beginning to see in the AFL, Carlton, Collingwood and Essendon. So, the ball flung forward there by Broderick. Serakowski, I'll tell you what, he's put in a good shift as well. He's been able and supported in the ruck, surprisingly, by Darryl Wakeland. So a sort of makeshift ruck duo has had the better of Deer and Gale. As Winmar receives the ball again from Peaker. What a mark by Lowy! He's just wrapped his hands around the three votes, I reckon. That is a fantastic grab. Isn't he in career best form? Goes short. Good work by Peakin to get in the way of Broderick, allowing Keogh to take the mark. And Keogh a little unsteady on his feet. But he's as solid as a brick, you know what, and he'll go back and take his kicks. It's that famous left boot into the ball, looking for Lowy. Up there was Anderson, the ball stumped away. Callaway back in more familiar territory defensively for Richmond. Tracked back beautifully by the youngster Brown. He's brought to ground, gets it to a fellow youngster in Joel Smith. He's tapping the ball to O'Brien. Great flick out. Was that Winmar sending a flying boot of the ball? It wasn't, because that's Winmar there! Free kick! Directly in front.
Mark Neal with a vigorous tackle threw the head back in despair when he was adjudged to have caught Nicky Winmar too high. And Winmar will go back from directly in front to kick the Saints 14th.
Characteristically socked down by his ankles, this adored Saint. What a great player he is, has been for St Kilda. Goes back. Directly in front, spears it right through the middle, over the heads of the disappointed Richmond cheer squad, who can only look skywards and wonder what has happened to our side today. They have run into a locomotive called St Kilda, and I can tell you one thing, well, Danny Frawley, we haven't seen Spud for the entire afternoon, incredibly been on the bench.
Well, he must have got injured in the warm-up. So the Saints have played one short all afternoon. So as you can see, the skipper there stripped for action. Well, that is
extraordinary.
Extraordinary.
But they can, if that is the case, to consider bringing him on now.
Well, the Saints go forward again, low on the bounce. He wants to give off by hand, and he does to Gordon Fode, who's a long kick of the footy. From 52, he sprays it out to the right. And a minor score, big collision there between Dundas and it might have been Tony Brown. But it brings up the century, as Tony Leonard likes to say. First to 100 usually wins. 14-16, 100 the Saints to 6-7, 43 Richmond. And your man, Mark Fine, Matty Dundas, is going to bring the ball back into play again.
Let's see if he can hit a Tiger. Of course he can't. Kicks it straight to Nicky Winmar. Jeez, an interesting player, Dundas. Anyhow, it's not for me to reason why, it's just for me.
Was he an assumption boy?
I think he might have been. He started with Fitzroy. And as Fitzroy began their descent down the ladder, Richmond thought they'd pick him up for some reason. Anyhow, Tony Brown, the youngster with the left shoe, goes back and swings it across the face of goal. Much like the reserves this afternoon, it's the good had their kicking boots on. This could have been anything, and he's come on for all it. Well, there you go. I mean, maybe Stan Reynolds is a soccer fan, and in soccer, of course, you only get your match payments as a sub if you come on, and maybe he's hoping that Danny Frawley gets recognised as a participant.
I wonder if the great man got to the ground late, whether he went to the MCG or even Waverley.
Well, he's in the play now, diving on the ball with Shanahan.
Extraordinary. We're going to have to do some research on this as to what exactly was the backstory to it.
Very unusual. Certainly since the introduction of the interchange, I don't think we've ever seen a player come on this late.
It's his first game since round 11 against Collingwood, and the mists of time, can't quite recall what the injury was. Miss a big chunk of footy throughout the middle of 1995.
So how many weeks?
This is now round 17, so he'd missed 5.
Yeah, so maybe he had a 5-week, 3-quarter and 10-minute injury, which is very unusual.
He's out there now, the skipper. And a bit of a stacks on the mill. Umpire Harvey comes screaming in. Wonder if he'll be giving votes to his namesake in about half an hour, 40 minutes time. It is a 58-point lead to the Saints, 14-17 to 6-7. Can the Tigers get some late consolation goals? Zilla tries to storm through. Handball to Anderson, who almost missed his boot. Ball right in the centre of Princes Park, as you can see. Bond grabs it, dispossessed. Fode, he charges through. He's run down as well. Still pretty tough in the clinches here, even though this game is done and dusted. I've had a couple of goes at it, Finey. You take up the call, almost on centre wing, with St Kilda leading by 58 points.
This ball's harder to move than my golf ball out of a bunker. Let's see whether we can get it in motion. Now, Darryl Wakeland. It might be Shane even. It is Shane. Gee, the Wakelands have actually teamed up to be very good support in the ruck today. Something that obviously slipped the mind of coaches later on in their career. The ball's still stuck in the bunker. How many shots is this?
Taking 4.
Yeah. Well, very marked fine line. So, Robert Harvey, he could be the decider. No, he's not. Unusually, it's Bauer who kicks the ball sideways. Winmar tracks it back. He's been tracked by Bond, but Winmar, always clever with the ball, pops it over to Burke, who, Burke-like, uses his evasive skills. Love the way he lifts the ball up in the air to dodge. Just got his foot to ball. Tape dispossessed brilliantly by young Brown. That was great play. Gets it over to Anderson. Anderson swings it to Miranda. He's leading O'Brien in the chase of the ball for one of the rare times of the afternoon. And perfectly positioned is Nathan Burke. Swings around looking for Wakeland. Robert Harvey was actually brilliant there. Didn't go for the ball. Used his body to make it impossible for Daffy to swipe it away from Wakeland. The ball goes forward. Fair play there from Miranda. A good mark and gets a tap on the back from O'Brien, who obviously knows that a Richmond player has infringed somewhere else on the ground, and Stewart later take the free kick. Jesus, Stewart O'Brien gives his opponent a tap on the back and tells him, give me the bloody ball back.
Yes, and I think has O'Brien gone down there just at the back of screen?
Well, let's hope he's not involved with the tribunal, because he's best kept away from that part of the that part of the CBD.
Don't be cheeky. Paul Buller stands the mark. He's had a dirty afternoon. Stuart Lowe lining up for his 5th. 4 of them in the third quarter. So for 5 second half goals, it's a high, long drop punt, and it is home.
Beauty! A handful for Stuart Lowe.
5 goals for Big Lowy. And look at that scoreboard. 15-17, 107 to 6-7, 43. On this very gloomy afternoon for the Tigers at Princes Park, the margin has blown out to 64 points.
I tell you what, Northey, he's trying to find Bullis's best position. He's been full back, full forward, back to full back. I reckon he might try something the other side of the fence next week if he wants to get it right. The ball comes to the ground. Campbell tackled there by Shane Wakeland. Tracked back by Daffy. Daffy's still putting in a fair shift. Knocks the ball to his advantage. He needs to pick it up quickly because Zilla's taken him off it. Oh, you don't want to see Zilla coming. That's like the 403 from Frankston, stopping all stations. Gets the ball forward. Bond there. One of Richmond's better players this afternoon. Swings on the right boot. Kicks the ball back. Now, umpires noted an infringement. It's all going St Kilda's way. Well, I take everything I said about Harvey back. That is umpire Harvey. He's not actually a bad bloke. Oh no, he is a bad bloke. He's played at Danfield. I was right.
O'Brien, the offender.
Should never ever change my mind on an umpire's call. Nash sinks the long boot into it. Gee, that's a mighty kick. Chris Nash. He hasn't had much of the ball, but I tell you what, that one's memorable. That's gone all the 70 metres. Well, I guess he certainly didn't have leather poisoning. I guess when you haven't used your leg all afternoon, you've got something in it with 10 minutes to go, Bruce.
Well, that is the goal of the day. He has kicked that a mile. Chris Nash, who is going to be a successful horse owner.
Race horses or just...
Race horses, yes.
Just
part
kids' pony rides.
Part owner of the Kosciuszko winner front page. Anyway, I don't know, there's a few Saints supporters in that horse as well. Back in the centre, Anderson, well, up the chimney and down it comes. Shane Wakeland cleverly punches the ball towards centre wing. Burke gets a handle on it, but the handball was a little sloppy. We don't say that too often about Nathan Burke. Nash, he got a push and he'll win a free kick. So after that amazing goal, he now kicks on his non-preferred left.
That was interesting.
Yeah, Shanahan could have taken a chest mark then, elected to go the double-fisted punch. Always the defender. And as you can see, some light rain now falling. back in the day when umbrellas were allowed at the football, we'll have a throw in right forward pocket in front of the big scoreboard, which makes for pretty good reading if you're a Saints fan.
Well, we've said it all afternoon, the Wakelands have done well in the ruck and they decided to do it as a duo, as an ensemble. And together, too good for Gale, even though the ball ends up back in the hands of the band round pole. So let's see if they try it again. It's Daryl Wakeland and Gale, and Shane Wakeland comes shotgun and goes third. So, you know, we talk about great brothers in football and the synergy between the crackers, but I tell you what, there's been a fair bit of a connect this afternoon between these two South Australians. And I speak of none other than Daryl and Shane Wakeland. Of course, they're twins, born on separate days, I believe.
Yes, either side of midnight. Daryl is the older by a few minutes.
And today. So, an unusual occurrence of identical twins born on separate days. The ball almost handed by Charles to Daffy, who gets it further afield. Nash decides that 15 minutes in the last quarter is a perfect time to get involved in the game, as does Jareka. Too late, boys, but a goal there for the future barrister. A man that I would actually umpire at this very ground in a barrister versus solicitors game some years into the future.
Stephen Jareka.
Correct, and 2 years in a row he played for the barristers, and in both years tore his hamstring.
Played full forward as well?
Yep. Both years didn't survive the first quarter.
Well, he's kicked his first goal here at Princes Park today. All too little too late, though, for the Tigers. They trimmed the deficit to 52 points, so just a little consolation goal towards the end of this massive upset. Shane Wakeland in the ruck and wins the tap as well, and then wins his own football. He can do it all today, can Wakes. Charles gets involved, trying to storm through Callaway. Ball to boot quickly, and will the mark be paid? Gale, yeah, he had enough of it. He's marked just outside the 50-metre arc, which, as we know at Princes Park, is really about 42 metres. So Big Benny, he's going to load up. He's fancying his chances here. It's a long drop punt as it got the legs off hands and through for a rush behind, which gives us our favourite score in football. 8-8, 56, brother, to 15-17, 107 on the Lenny's Deli scoreboard late in the final term at Princes Park as the Porpoise, Christian Bardsley, to bring the ball back into play.
And he goes short to Dean Anderson. Good solid citizen Dean Anderson, of course, Hawthorn Premiership player. Goes back on the right foot. Not a great kick, looking for Nathan Burke, but Burke honours it. And the helmeted St Kilda star finds Shane Wakeland, and the Wakelands actually worked their way into the game beautifully. Shane Wakeland goes further afield to my best man on the ground, Stuart Lowe, this time fairly and squarely beaten by Paul Bullis, who's had a very, very difficult afternoon, and the ball finds its way out of bounds. So not long to go in one of the big upsets of the season, and we're not talking about St Kilda sneaking over the line. Well, that's going to be an interesting call because they were both had their hands wrapped around each other's shoulders. But, as history would attest to, when it's 50-50, it goes against St Kilda. So Charles swings around on the right boot, kicks it to centre forward, all St Kilda there. Brendan Gale's backing back into the pack. And what he's actually done is make room for Shane Wakeland, who ends up being caught by the triumvirate of Daffy, Knights and Broderick for all your legal needs. Beaver, centre half forward, Norton to bounce the ball.
And a good bounce as well. Both Wakelands again up against Benny Gale. Ball squirts out to Bond. Brilliant handle to Matthew Rogers. Rogers the shot at goal, and he's nailed it. So the Tigers do get another late one. And they move to 9-8-62. St Kilda 15-17, 107. 24 minutes into the last quarter. If I was a betting man, and I've been known to have a flutter, I'd say I can't see too many more scores in this one. 45 points is the lead. As we see Spud Frawley, the mystery of today. Spud Frawley heading down to centre half forward for the Saints. And the lead is 45 points with umpire John Harvey to slam it into the Princes Park mud one more time.
Daryl Wakeland continues, Shane Wakeland I should say actually this time, continuing on his good form, gets the tap out, Winmar in over the top of the ball. He's not going to surrender it easily. And the controversial figure of Justin Charles grabs him, snags him and prepares for another ruck contest against a Wakeland of some description. The ball to be bounced near the centre of the ground. Charles v. Wakeland. You have to give that to Charles, I guess. The ball's tapped down. Daffy on the left boot, kicks it forward. Tracking after it there is Jarika. Shanahan quickly to his feet, and another Wakeland gets them. Now, I've got to remember where they're from. Port somewhere in South Australia.
Yes, I should know, given I know both brothers quite well. It's the same place that Corey Enright comes.
Yeah, he's from Kimba. Kimba's very close. It's on the Eyre Peninsula. Basically, you know, if you take your car there and you don't fill up, you're going to run out of petrol before the next town. It's pretty sparsely populated. Matthew Rogers, another... Is it? No, Jamie Tape's the South Australian. In the defensive post there for the Tigers. This one in front of the old Vin Gardner stand. You mentioned how that fire trap was allowed to stay erect during the 1990s. Obviously, some backhander was paid to a local councilman because that thing was as dangerous as all get out. The ball tapped down to Keogh. Swung around as he kicks the ball. Justin Charles drops what a 6-year-old would have taken. Kicks the ball back into the centre of the ground. And running back with it is Matthew Rogers, tracked by Pekin. Shane Wakeland is there. Matthew Knight tries to swing a handball out. Does so. Matthew Rogers, good follow-up. I tell you what, he's not been their worst. And he's not a bad footballer. You can't help but admire him. Jamie Shanahan, ye old brick wall, in the way again. Broderick does what he does best, extricates, gets it to Bauer. Jurica does what he does best, is dispossessed. Nathan Burke swings it back, Beaver, and that was Now that was on the full off Campbell. I'm telling you, it's off Wayne Campbell. He smothered it with his boot. I doubt the umpire will know it. Anderson does. I'm telling you, you're right, dude. You might have kicked it, but you kicked it into this con man's boot.
Yes, indeed. Anderson gives the boundary umpire a spray. Wayne Campbell kicks it to full forward. The big puncher. Oh, Shane Wakeland again. He's been everywhere. And just lays it out wide, just over the head of Vando, who dives on the footy. Campbell's going to hail a cab. Bauer, who certainly has tried hard today as well with a couple of goals. Shane Wakeland again. He's got it on a street. He's going to show Chris Nash the football.
I know what he said to Chris Nash. This is a football. You probably don't know. Actually, look, he kicked that good goal, but apart from that goal, you can show him the football, introduce him to it and say, this is a Sharon. You might like to acquaint yourself with it at some point next week, because you certainly haven't seen it today. But credit where credit's due, he did kick the goal.
So if we've got a 50-metre penalty here as well, what's is confusion reigning? I think everyone wants this one to be over with now.
Yeah, everybody. If it was cricket, if it was local cricket, I think both captains would agree it's something like that.
Yeah. Pull up stumps and... So now somehow, from all that little...
I tell you, love the over-officious umpire in the last 5 minutes of a thrashing.
So,
even if Shanahan thinks it's a joke.
With gloves on, Jamie Shanahan.
I love the police. They used to ring the ground, talking to the crowd. Yeah, no worries, mate. No guns back then, just a truncheon.
Are we into the second siren here by now, or it's just over the fence and a free-for-all?
I think the second siren, which used to signal the great race to the centre circle at VFL Park.
And how no 14-year-old kid ever got a fraction skull? Kids going from all points of the compass. There's the siren! What a win for the Saints! A huge upset. Second bottom against Richmond second, and they've thrashed them by 45 points. 15-17-107 to 9-8-62. Terrific win by the Red, White and Blacks.
I've got to say, and I never thought I'd say this, but as the siren went, unfittingly, Frawley was going for a mark. Very strange afternoon with Tanner Frawley coming on with 10 minutes to go, not touching the ball, but as you can see, very keen to offer his condolences to players of a team that he will later go on and coach.
So, not so much a huge dent in Richmond's finals chances. They're still 12-4 and a draw, but a huge dent to their confidence as we see the men in white getting a bit of a spray from the Richmond fans as well.
Really?
But they can't argue with that.
Really? Seriously?
45-point thrashing. I think that takes us out from our coverage today at Princes Park. St Kilda players, they'll be celebrating tonight, and we might make our way back down via Norton's and various other watering holes in Carlton back into the city and then back down the Pean Highway for a fine old celebration.
Well, it was a great win by the Saints, and those Richmond supporters, I think you'd be better off saving your vitriol for the likes of Mark Neild and Paul Bullis. But it's all been about St Kilda this afternoon. A great win, 45 points to the good, and for the Tigers, it's where to from here.